On day 1, I spawned in as King Kong. Check me out, I'm the king of the world. But wait, why do I only have a few hearts? I'm a massive ape for crying out loud. That's when I realized I was on a playground. Looks like I'm not the king quite yet. From out of nowhere came a man wearing a black suit and tie. Oh, he must be super nice. We can always trust strangers in nice suits, right?
Don't run, alien. You're coming with me. You're in trouble.
Alien? Why is he calling me that? Just then, the man in black started to try and capture me. I'll never go with you. Kidnapping is wrong. I couldn't believe this guy. I had no choice but to run.
Stop making a fuss and get into my unmarked vehicle. I have candy.
The man in black was chasing after me and kept calling me an alien. What's this guy's deal? I ran into the forest and climbed up a big tree. Nice try, kidnapper. After resting for a bit in the tree, I jumped down to see if the man in black was gone. The coast was clear. Phew, I hope I never see that guy again. Just then, I heard some rustling. Was he back? Nope, it was a badger. Oh boy, I'm glad it's just you. There was a really weird dude chasing me earlier. The badger didn't want to chat. He was mad that I was on his turf and tried to attack me. Back off, Badgie. I punched him and knocked him away. Huh, I'm not so weak after all. Nice try, punk. That badger had definitely learned his lesson. Or so I thought, because it wasn't long before I was surrounded by an entire badger gang. I'm having a really rough day. They had me surrounded. Suddenly, I felt something in my chest, and I let out a giant roar. The badgers jumped and ran off. I have no idea where that came from, but it worked. I'll have to remember that for the future. It was getting dark, so I climbed back up into a tree for the night to sleep in the branches. Wow, from up here, it's almost like I could touch the moon. It's huge. As I fell asleep, I couldn't help but wonder if I'd ever find a family out there, so I wouldn't be so alone. On day 2, I decided it was time to make my way in this world. I started to wander around and it led me to a jungle. Oh, this certainly feels like the place to make a home. I started to cut down wood and gather stone. I made my crafting table and got to work creating tools and a couple of weapons. Easy squeezy, weapon pleasey. I knew I was going to need a base very soon, so I started collecting resources for that too. But this was the jungle, and it wasn't long before I was disturbed by a very grumpy venomous snake. I know how to handle this. I took a deep breath and roared, and nothing happened. Uh-oh, maybe snakes don't have very good hearing. Oh well, I'll just have to take care of him the old-fashioned way. It was a good thing I had just made a sword, which I used to quickly take him out. Now that the snake was gone, it made me want to build a really well-hidden base. I didn't want the man in black to find me, or anything else for that matter. As I went deeper into the jungle, I soon saw a giant boulder. That rock would be a good foundation for my base. I got right to work constructing the beginnings of my jungle home. It was coming along nicely, but I soon got tired and needed to rest for the night. It was cozy in my small but sturdy base. I fell asleep thinking of plans to eventually construct my home into a jungle temple. On day 3, I woke up bright and early to explore the jungle. Suddenly, I heard a squeak and saw a cute little green creature running away from a big crocodile. I followed him and saw the poor little green creature was cornered by the croc. Hey, stop right there, croc. How about you take a bite out of this? I started hitting him with my sword. He snapped at me, but I was able to dodge his blows. We brawled for a bit, but eventually I was able to knock him out. I looked around for the little green guy and saw he was running away. Hey, I'm not mean, I promise. He didn't stop running, so I followed him. Don't be scared. Look, I've got a banana. Want one? The little green creature turned and stopped running. You're probably hungry. Here you go. He really liked it, and I think it helped him trust me.
Like banana I do.
Oh, he can talk. I asked him his name and where his home was.
Luno, my name is. Lunarian I am. On the moon I live, but from the moon I fell. Lost I am. A lot of mean creatures here there are, but you, nice you are. Alone I am.
I'm alone too. That's pretty cool you're from the moon though. I have no idea how to get you home, but I'm happy to try. The alien was relieved to hear I would try and help him. I invited him to stay at the base until we figured something out. He agreed and we went back together. On days 4 to 5, I made it back to the base. We added another room so that Luno had a space of his own. I'm going to need more materials to build some more of this temple. You stay here, Luno. I'll be back. I walked around the jungle and began mining and collecting all sorts of things from the temple. What was that? I thought I heard something. Guess not. I got back to collecting things. I heard some more rustling behind me and some malicious giggling. I turned and saw the group of badgers that had ganged up on me earlier. Oh brother, not you guys again. When are you going to just leave me alone already? I took in a big breath and gave my best banshee roar. Some of the badgers ran off, but some of them just stayed there. That's strange. Well, now I wasn't defenseless like last time. I brandished my sword. I got this in the badger. I started swinging and hitting the badgers that had stuck around. I'll bet they wish they had run away. After I had gotten rid of all of the badgers, I noticed one of them had dropped something. It was an item that protected against sound attacks. Pretty clever badgers. Gotta hand it to them. I finished gathering materials and headed back to the base. I told Luna what had happened with the badger.
Strong fighter you are.
Ah, shucks, Luno. It was getting late and had been a long day, so we settled in for the night. Luno looked up at the moon before he fell asleep. He missed his home. It was close, yet so far. On days 6 to 8, I woke up ready to face the day. I wanted to find upgrades for the base, and Luno wanted to explore a little bit too. I told him to be careful and call out to me if anything happened. While I explored below some azalea trees, I noticed an entrance to a cave. I know what this means. Iron time. I hopped down into the cave. It was so lush down here. I got out my sword and quickly took care of the slimy pests. I found some really neat, dark-colored cobblestone, plus plenty of iron. This cave rocked, pun intended. I couldn't wait to check out more, but it was then that I heard something from outside the cave. I better take a look. I carefully peeked out of the cave and saw the men in black running past. He was back. That was close, he could have seen me. What is he up to now? That was Luno's stream. I rushed out of the cave to find Luno. I no longer cared about my safety. I couldn't let the man in black kidnap him. This is terrible. I should have never let Luno go off alone. I wasn't going down without a fight. Feel my wrath, kidnapper. I went to knock his blocks off, but before I could get over there, he suddenly evaporated into particles. What kind of kidnapper magic was this? I was left alone with only my regrets to keep me company. What was I to do? On days 9 to 10, I was so discouraged. The man in black was too cunning. There was no chance I'd be able to save Luno. I didn't even know where he was taken. Maybe a walk will clear my head. I wandered around the jungle and through the forest. Eventually, I ended up in a familiar spot. It was the playground I started off at. I climbed back onto the small skyscraper. There was something comforting about being on top of it. I'm supposed to be King Kong, king of the jungle, but I couldn't even save my friend. Sitting on the skyscraper gave me an idea though. I know, I can build a statue to help take my mind off of things. So I went back towards my base. I stopped at an area that was nearby, but not so close that it would give my base away. I started clearing the area for my big project. Once I was done clearing the area, I started the foundation of the skyscraper. Not too shabby. It was a great start, but that would be enough for now. It was about to get dark and mobs would be spawning. I headed back to the base and crafted some gear with iron to pass the time. I hoped Luna was okay. After a while, I decided to call it a night and got some sleep. On days 11 to 12, I got up bright and early. I was looking forward to building my statue, but I was going to need a ton of materials to build my skyscraper. I headed out of the jungle and into a bamboo forest. As I was exploring, I noticed a large building hiding among the plants. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. There was an old spooky looking mansion. I was so intrigued by it. I went inside and had a look around. I wonder who used to own this place. Maybe it was an explorer. I was taking a closer look at things when I was startled by the sound of someone clearing their throat. I turned and there was an old man looking at me.
Hello there. May I help you, old chap?
Sorry, I didn't think anyone lived here anymore.
Indeed I do. This old house isn't what she used to be, but I'm too old these days to keep up with the yard.
Oh, well, I like the way it looks. It's very earthy, and you have some really cool artifacts here. What a collection.
Thank you, dear boy, but these relics are all fake. You see, I'm an explorer, or I was when I was a bit more spry. When I would find something fascinating, whether it was an animal, artifact, or relic, I didn't want to take it. No, I wanted others to enjoy finding it too, so I would come home and recreate it. That way, the original would be right where it should be.
It's very honorable of you. I have mad respect for your respect.
Cheers. You know, you remind me of someone I met before. This might fascinate you if you'd like to see it.
He led me into his backyard, and there in the middle was a model of a giant King Kong-looking gorilla.
I found this gigantic creature on an island where it was worshipped as a god. I was so amazed, I went home and built this replica here. It's my most treasured discovery, and I've always hoped I'd meet another, as I've heard this creature is no longer living.
I could tell he was thinking I was just like this great specimen. This is inspiring to see, but I'm much too small. I'll never reach that size.
This ape started out as a small bugger, just like you. Day by day, he grew stronger and bigger until he was a towering, fearsome giant. Maybe you too will steadily grow so big.
I wasn't so sure about that. I mean, I hope so, but I failed to save my friend. It was hard to believe I was destined for greatness. I said cheerio to the old explorer. I was glad I had met him. Then I continued collecting materials while also heading back towards home. While I was mining, I couldn't help but daydream about one day being a real king of the jungle. On days 13 to 15, I was making my way back to my base when I got the feeling I was being followed. I picked up my pace, hoping that would help, but I still couldn't shake that feeling. When I looked behind me, I finally caught a glimpse of something. Nope, I wasn't going to wait around to find out what it was. I booked it. I ran as fast as I could, but I was right. Something was following me, and that something was just as fast as I was. It was a tiger. It looks like I have no choice. I flipped around and faced him. No more running. I would just have to give it my all. Chew on this, tiger. I used my strength, my roar, and my sword. I gave it my all. He hit me a few times. There was no denying that this kitty was tough. This battle is intense. Even though it was a hard battle, I actually was holding my own. Whoa! All of a sudden, we both went tumbling off a cliff. But did that stop us? No! We landed in the water and kept at it. There was a fire that got ignited in me. Something instinctual, something primal. I let out a huge roar. We kept brawling, but in the end, I got the last blow and he was done. I came out victorious. Yes! I was so proud of myself. I could really step up to the plate when the odds are stacked against me and come out on top. I felt strength welling up inside of me, and I instantly evolved into a bigger version of King Kong. Okay, I wasn't quite the size of a jungle king, but I'd say I was at least a prince. Just call me Prince Kong, Prince Pong. Yeah, maybe I'll just stick to being called Zozo for now. On day 16 to 19, I was feeling so confident that I had some pep in my step. Maybe things weren't so hopeless with helping Luno. I had figured out how to defeat the tiger. Maybe, just maybe, I could figure out how to rescue Luno. I decided to return to the place of the kidnapping to see if I could find any clues. Bingo! And Sloppy was his name-o. There it was, a map on the ground. Looked like he dropped it in the chase. His mistake was my advantage. I looked it over and saw that it had a building on it labeled Men in Black's Secret Lab. These dudes really need to do some training training on how to not compromise classified information. What a bunch of rookies. The map changed everything. This meant I had a shot at finding Luno, and this time I was going to save him. But first, I better get ready for battle. I wanted to upgrade my gear, so I went back to the lush cave and mined a bunch more iron. Some spiders crawled up and tried to bother me, but I showed them who was boss real quick. Mind your business, spiders. Get it? The spiders weren't amused. Oh well, you go squish now. I was on a mission. I would not be deterred. Once I gathered enough, I went back to my base and got to work, crafting a full set of heavy-duty iron armor and iron weapons. Now, I was ready, I hoped. On day 20 to 22, I set off, following the map to the secret lab that was no longer a secret. Seriously, can you believe they just dropped that really important map? I approached the area where the place was supposed to be, but I didn't see anything anywhere at first. But then I spotted it. It was a very well-hidden bunker lab. Without the map, I'd have never noticed it. I guess I can give them a little credit for camouflaging. Just then, some guards came out of the bunker. I quickly ducked out of sight.
Yeah, that little green alien is really adorable.
It's too bad he won't be around after today.
I was just getting used to having the little guy around. I think I'm gonna cry.
Pull yourself together, Fred.
Hey, I have feelings too.
I'm sorry, Fred. I know what this is really about. It's about the last bagel that Jerry took.
He already had one, Megan. Who does that? A monster, that's who.
Let it out, buddy. Have a good cry.
Talk about drama. I had to get in the door. Just then, 2 more guards came out to talk to the other ones. The door was ajar. This was my chance to sneak past the guards while they sorted out their feelings or whatever that was about. Okay, I'm in. That wasn't so hard. Just gotta find out where they're holding Luno, kick booty, and get out. No biggie. I turned a corner and found myself in a cafeteria full of guards. Uh-oh, wrong turn. Everyone turned and looked at me. So how about them burgers, huh? Talk about beefy. Well, I'll see myself out.
Intruder, get that gorilla!
That was my cue to run. I ran deeper into the base. They were so shocked to see a big gorilla, they weren't ready to fight. I took them out with just a few big punches. Ooh, one of them dropped a key. I know what to do with that. I put the key in the lock of the door they were guarding. Open sesame. Luno was inside the room.
Zozo.
He was so excited to see me. He was surprised how much I had grown. I told him I was sorry for taking so long to rescue him. He was just happy to see me and told me I was very brave. What a guy. No time to lose, Luno. We gotta break you out of here. The battle is only half won. We tried to hurry and make our way out without running into anyone else, but of course that was too good to be true. The man in black cut us off and blocked us from getting any further.
I'm not the bad guy here. This is what needs to happen. Surrender, or I will have to use this.
He flashed a fancy-looking gun. The gun didn't shoot bullets. Instead, it produced a terrible, debilitating sound. I quickly equipped my noise-canceling ear protection that I picked up from the badgers. The poor Luno was spinning with confusion. No one was going to hurt my friend on my watch. I charged the man in black. I gave him a super punch and knocked him to the ground. He didn't get back up. He was out cold. Total knockout. You didn't stand a chance against these guns. Luno was still a bit disoriented, but he was okay. We rushed out of the lab and into the wilderness. The man in black never knew what hit him. On day 23 to 26, we returned to the jungle temple. I kept apologizing that I hadn't been able to stop the men in black from taking him, but he told me he didn't care, that it wasn't my fault.
Blame yourself for other actions. Do not.
I guess he had a good point. I tried my best, and sometimes bad things just happen. So, are you okay after being captured?
Heavy is my heart. Homesick.
I wish I could help. If only I could reach the moon. Wait a minute, I'm building a skyscraper sculpture. What if I build it so tall that it can reach the moon?
Great idea that is. Great friend Zozo is.
We ran over to the sculpture and continued building together. Phew, this was a huge undertaking. We definitely were going to need way more materials than we had in our stash. We would go find more supplies tomorrow. That night, as we both sat and looked up at the stars, we saw an interesting constellation. Does that make you think of anything? On days 27 to 31, I spotted a wandering trader walking by with his llama. I ran out and flagged him down. Good morning, can I see what you're selling? I am in need of a lot of andesite.
Is that so? I don't have a lot on me right now, but I'm on my way to a quarry that has tons of stuff. I often go there to ply my wares.
A huge source of materials that I can use for the skyscraper? What good luck. Thanks for that info. I'll certainly be taking a visit there.
I got other stuff though, if you want to make a trade.
I don't have any money.
That's okay. You can buy on credit and I will come collect later. It's the newest craze. Buy now, figure it out later.
That sounded good to me. I looked at his wares and saw an enchanted iron chestplate and a better helmet. I selected these items and then bid goodbye to the trader. I'd have to remember to come up with some money later. I went over to where Luna was and let him know I needed to make a journey to the quarry. I told him to wait at the base and make himself at home. I'd be back as soon as I could. Eat all the frogs and bananas you want while I'm gone. I headed out and eventually found myself wandering through the savannah. At one point, I started hearing some weird laughing around me. Back up, buddies. Trust me, you don't want a piece of me. But they clearly did want a piece of me. They didn't waste time in jumping all over me. There were so many of them, and they were fighting like there was no tomorrow. I was able to take quite a few of them them out, but with so many around me, they definitely got a few good hits in. My sword proved to be strong too, but I had to give these guys some credit. They may have been smaller than me, but they really fought with a lot of heart. Unfortunately for them, it was me who ended up taking all of their hearts. Eventually, they were nothing but dust. Look who's laughing now. Actually, I feel a little bad for taking them all out, but fish gotta swim and Zozo's gotta survive. On days 32 to 35, I spotted the quarry in the distance on a mountain. As I got closer, I noticed it was pretty quiet. I didn't see any activity. Where is everybody? I poked around the quarry, searching for someone. Anyone. Finally, I came across an office. I walked in and saw a foreman sitting alone.
Well, how do you like that? It's one of them big gorillas. I'll be mine. Never seen one of your types around these parts.
I came here to get some skyscraper materials. Where is everybody?
Shoot, you're out of luck, big feller. This here quarry had done shut down. Yes, sirree. Why, this quarry used to be a real resource hoedown, but we had to shut things down because of that gosh darn monster.
Monster?
As sure as I'm standing right in front of you, there's a terrible lizard creature snatching up my workers. No one dares work here anymore. It was an HR nightmare, and if I ain't got laborers, then I can't get no resources to sell.
Well, if I take care of that monster for you, would they work for you again?
I reckon that'd do it.
Looks like I had my next mission. Slay the lizard, get the quarry back into working order, get boatload of materials. I started searching around for the monster lizard creature. I jumped down the mountain and eventually noticed a cave opening. That seemed like a good place for a monster to hide. I crawled around the cave, following its twists and turns. Eventually, the cave opened up and there laid a giant Komodo dragon. It was snoozing. I cleared my throat. Hey, I'm Zozo. I was just popping in to ask that you don't kill any more of the workers at the quarry, because it's really bumming everyone out, and the dragon jumped at me and snapped. Whoa, I'm sure we can talk this through. Nobody has to get hurt. The dragon was not interested in negotiations. I had no choice. I had to fight back. This dragon had a mighty bite. I was striking the lizard whenever I could and dealing some major blows. But this lizard wasn't going down easy. There was a reason it had become king of the quarry. Komodo dragons had a terribly venomous bite. Thankfully, I had upgraded my armor. Otherwise, I might have fallen prey to this clever lizard's venom. The dragon chased me all around, but I could tell it was losing hearts. Fast. It doesn't have to be like this. You can go find another place to live. Don't make me do this. These workers just want to make a living. You don't need to keep eating them. The lizard would not listen to reason. Can't say I didn't try. With my sword drawn, I dealt the final blow. I vanquished the dragon. Ooh, and it dropped a pendant. Most importantly, I can get this quarry up and running again and get Luno back to the moon. I looked around the Komodo dragon's nest for a second to see if there was anything of interest. I didn't see anything, but then I heard a little voice.
Mama?
Oh, she was a girl dragon with a baby. My bad. This poor baby was without a mother, and it was my fault. I felt terrible. Hey there, baby dragon. I'm not gonna hurt you. I hope you can forgive me about your mom.
She wasn't my real mom. She was a really mean stepmom. Honestly, you did me a favor.
Phew, that was a relief to hear. Imagine if they had gotten along. This would have been super awkward. I told the baby that she was welcome to be my friend and to let me know if there's anything I could do for her. Then I headed out of the cave and back to the office. The baby followed at a distance. On day 36 to 39, I told the foreman that the monster had been taken care of and that the workers could come back now.
Yeah, well, ain't that just a kick in the pants? That's mighty grand. There's just one teensy-weensy problem.
Another problem?
You see, my workers ain't around no more. With no work here, they were fixing to make a new quarry of their own over yonder. But word is, that dog won't hunt. They's trapped in the middle of a newly formed lake after a big flood in that there area.
Alright, point me in the direction and I'll see what I can do.
Go that way.
I stepped outside the office and saw the little dragon poke his head out from a nearby mine. I felt so bad. She didn't have anyone to care for her now, so I told her she could come with me. I hope this wasn't a fool's errand. Eventually, we came upon the lake, and sure enough, just as the foreman said, out in the middle was an island with some small houses. I crafted a boat. We set out up across the water and soon reached the other side. Once we got on the shore, the quarry workers came out to greet us.
Are you the rescue team? We have been waiting so long. Monster! Killer monster!
Oh no, I should have realized the baby would trigger these workers. No, I took care of the monster for you. This is just a cute, harmless baby. There's no need to be alarmed. I am here to rescue you and take you back to the quarry. As I said, there's no dangerous monster anymore. You now have a safe work environment. So what do you say? Want to get out of here? The workers cheered. They were tired of being on the tiny island. I offered them my boat, but they said it wouldn't be possible because they needed to take all their equipment with them. That was quite the conundrum, but that's what I was here for, to fix all the problems. I sailed back across the lake and started chopping down a bunch of trees. Eventually, I had enough to construct a simple bridge. Before going back to the island, I found a cave and collected some cobblestone. After grabbing some of that, I decided it was a good idea for me and the baby to take a nap. We had had a really long day and would need the energy. On days 40 to 43, I started to construct a bridge out of wood and stone to get across the lake. Halfway through making the bridge though, I hit a problem. More like a problem tried to hit me. There was a shark in the water. I should be able to give this guy a nice big conk on the head. I reached down to hit the shark, but it bit me. I kept struggling to climb out of the water. I saw the shark coming for me. I'm done for. But just as it reached me, the baby Komodo swiped its tail, smacking it hard in the face. The shark turned its attention onto the baby, and she snapped her venomous mouth at the shark. It didn't stand a chance after that. Thank you for saving my life, little one. And I'm still sorry about your stepmom. She really didn't seem upset by it. By the way, do you have a name?
It's Bubblegum.
Nice. That's a cute name. I finished the bridge and made it back over to the workers.
Thanks, Mr. Zozo. We'll start heading back to the quarry with all our stuff.
That was was good to hear. I hadn't expected so many bumps in the road, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. Bubblegum and I got back to the quarry before the workers did, so I went to the office and let the foreman know the good news. He was so giddy that he was hooting and hollering.
We'll be up and running lickety-split. You'll be the first one to get what you need, and we'll give it to you on the house for all your troubles.
Sounded fair to me. I thanked him, and he let me know it'd be ready soon enough. On days 44 to 49, I returned back to my base with Bubblegum by my side. I told Luna about the drama and introduced Bubblegum. Then I noticed that the wandering trader was still hanging around. Hey, it took a bit of trouble, but I got things at the quarry back in order. They'll be starting production immediately. He was so happy to hear that. His line of work was no longer compromised.
You know, I have a network of other traders who could help bring the other materials over. That way you can get your stuff quicker. What do you say?
Sure, that would be great. Just let me know the cost.
Just put it on the credit.
Okay, I sure hoped I wouldn't live to regret that. Oh well. I noticed that Luna and Bubblegum were getting along really well. Hey Luna, I was thinking that Bubblegum could stay at our base. Are you okay with that? Luna loved the idea, so I started cutting out a spot to make room for Bubblegum to enjoy. Then it was time for some much needed sleep. On days 50 to 53, the first load finally arrived from the quarry. You people sure work quick. Talk about a speedy delivery.
We upgraded you to Wandering Trader Prime.
What's that going to cost me?
Don't worry about it. We'll just put it on your credit.
Okie dokie. I realized I was going to need somewhere to store all these materials. That was no problem. I built more of the skyscraper, but unfortunately, I realized the next hurdle. Glass. I needed a lot of glass. This project was surely exhausting. I know what will help me figure out my problem. Sleep. In the morning, I spoke with the traveling trader and asked if he had any connections to some serious glass stash.
You know, I do actually know of a glass factory, although it's some distance away.
Well, sounds like I'm due for another adventure. I'll set out now. I felt better leaving Luna alone now that Bubblegum was there to keep him company. I traveled through a few different biomes and eventually wound up at the glass factory. It felt like deja vu. I had a sneaking suspicion that this place was not in working order, just like the quarry. I entered the factory and saw that it was staffed by piglins.
You there. We have lost enough. Just leave us in peace.
I'm not here to cause you any trouble. I'm here to purchase some glass. Is there a problem with the factory?
Oh, there's a problem, all right. We've been overtaken by raiders. They told us they won't let us do any more mining for coal unless we pay them for access. But we're just piglins. How in the world are we to pay them?
That stinks.
I'm sorry, but I had Brussels sprouts for lunch. It makes me gassy.
Oh, I didn't mean it like that. Well, anyway, let me know how to help you. I'm pretty good these days at roughing up bad guys. Let me go have a chat with them. The piglins were excited to hear it and pointed me in the direction of the raiders. I was happy to get going because there was a really stinky smell around that piglin. I went in the direction they pointed me to and saw the mine was full of raiders. I'm ready to raid the raiders who raided the mine. No more Mr. Nice Kong. These dudes were slowing down my skyscraper production, not to mention being jerks to the piglins. I charged into the mine, muscles ablazing. I was tired of all this drama. I had a moon to get to. I didn't have patience for these punks. It's chopping time. They didn't know what hit them. I swung my sword and took out a bunch of them with ease. That's what I'm talking about. I got lower into the mines and saw diamonds all over the place. Sweet sparkles. Don't mind if I do. Is that pun getting old? I don't care. I'm just going to keep saying it. I quickly mined a bunch of diamonds and then went back to kicking some mob bum. There were a lot of them, so they got a few hits in, but these guys were like pesky fleas. Annoying, but no match for what I'd been through. Sadly, my armor was getting pretty damaged. Once at the bottom, a vindicator with hoarding the stash. So, you've been keeping the piglins out of the mine so you can have all the diamonds to yourselves. Diamonds may last forever, but your reign of terror is over. But then it came at me hard. Now I was starting to get nervous. My hearts were starting to go down. Then I got a weird idea. The vindicator was instantly drawn to it, as if he forgot all about the fight.
If it fits, I seats.
The vindicator captain was trapped. Oh, I can't believe that worked. I jumped down and landed endless blows to Vindicator. If you sits, I chop you to bits. Finally, the Vindicator was no more, and I was left the champion in the room of diamonds. I looked around the room some more and also found some chests full of gold. I can pay back the traders with this. I really had come a long way since my time on that playground. On days 58 to 62, I woke up and took a bunch of coal and diamonds and went back to the glass factory. I walked in and they all squealed with delight that I wasn't dead.
Praise Cole, you weren't overtaken. Does this mean you won, or did you flee?
I'll let all this coal do the talking. I showed them some coal.
You got coal, but coal can't talk, you know. You are very strong, but you seem to have knocked a few marbles loose up in that noggin of yours.
I know, it's just a saying. Oh, never mind. Anyways, yeah, I got rid of all the raiders. Now you can go and get everything you need.
Huzzah! Now we can mine our business for free.
About that, you said you didn't have a way to pay the raiders, but why didn't you use the diamonds to pay them? Piglins seemed confused. They had no clue what I was talking about.
Oh, you mean these shiny rocks? Bless your heart. Those silly rocks are utterly useless. Yes, too hard to even craft or melt down into anything. Again, I think you might need to see a doctor soon about that head of yours.
Oh, brother. I'll just let them think what they want. They weren't the brightest bunch, but they knew how to make some good quality glass. That's all I needed them to know about. So, should I be able to get regular deliveries of glass soon? Piglins let me know that they would make sure I was their priority for sending glass to. And as a gift for helping them out, they gave me a furnace sword. It showed how much they valued coal over diamond. This sword was so cool. I thanked them for the great treasures I now possessed. I couldn't wait to show my friends what I had found. On days 63 to 66, 66, I returned back home to my base. I had glass from the factory, and now would get regular deliveries coming from the depot very soon. I was very excited about how things were looking up. I told my friends all about my adventures fighting the den of dangerous raiders at the mine. They were both so impressed and excited to hear about it. And then I said, if you sits, you be chopped to bits.
Huh, nice one, Zozo.
Yes, got it, you still have.
I decided to craft diamond armor for each of us. Once I had the armor finished, I walked out and found the wandering trader. I was excited to fix my credit score with him. Hey, I'm ready to settle my debt. He couldn't believe I had enough to pay him. I gave him a giant amount of gold, and he was super happy about it.
Finally, my wife won't be so mad at me anymore for not getting paid for my labors all the time.
With the stash of new materials I had acquired, I began to add more to the skyscraper. You know, some windows, some walls, that kind of thing. This bad boy was getting some good height to it. Luno came and admired the work I had done. He said he was lucky to have a friend that cared so much about getting him home. I knew he would do the same for me. I also know he would like and comment on my YouTube videos, and you should too. On days 67 to 70, I was on top of my skyscraper when Luno pointed to something in the sky a good distance away.
What could that be?
Oh, I think it's a bird. Wait, no, it's a plane. No. It's the man in black! Oh no, he had found us! It'd be pretty hard not to see, I guess. I'm sure you could see it from miles away. The man in black was traveling via jetpack through the sky.
I'm sorry, but that alien must come with me. Give him up or I'll have to take him by force.
His name is Luno, and he is staying. Don't make me beat you up again.
I would like to see you try.
I jumped at him, but he flew off the skyscraper. Ugh, get over here and fight me like a man. He zoomed around me. Every time he got close, I would swat at him, but he was always just out of reach. I was running all around the skyscraper top. Then the man in black dive bombed me. Dude, I almost fell off. He dive bombed me again and I slapped him away. The next time, the man in black didn't come at me. He made a beeline for Luno instead. Luno was about to be taken. Luno! Luno held his little green hand up towards the man in black, and the man in black stopped moving in midair. The little alien had mind powers. Luno, you never told me you had special powers.
On the moon, they are not so special.
Here on this planet, we consider that a superpower. Now hold him right there, Luno. I'll finish him off. I punched the man in black's jetpack enough times that it malfunctioned, and he went plummeting to the ground. Look, he's falling. With style. We sure make a good team, Luno.
Thank you, friend. A great warrior you are. A good heart you have. A secret, I must tell you. Fell from the moon? I did not. Come here to seek help? I did. Being killed by a moon monster, my people are. In need, we are, for a champion. Told you I should have. Worried I was, that you would not accept the challenge. But now, I know you are the most brave hero. Sorry I am, for not being upfront.
Don't be sorry. I would be happy to help once we reach the moon. Thank you for being honest. Our conversation was interrupted by screaming from down below.
What happened to the MIB we should see?
On days 71 to 74, Luno and I got to the bottom of the skyscraper, only to discover that the man in black was still alive. I felt kind of bad for him. Well, I felt bad until I saw he had bubblegum on a leash. The man in black managed to get his jetpack working and took off with bubblegum, leaving us shocked at the turn of events. This guy is the worst. I can't believe he survived that fall, and now he has sweet baby bubblegum. Luno and I were so sad. Why would he take her? It just didn't make sense. Did he think she was an alien? What did he want with her? I spotted something on the ground. Maybe it was part of the jetpack. It was a strange material. I didn't recognize it.
You okay there, Zozo? Sounded like there was a big fight happening.
A piglin delivery guy stopped over to check on us. Yeah, there's this jerk who's been trying to capture us, and he took off with our friend. He dropped this.
I've seen that material before. It was over in Stony Peak Mountain. Yep, definitely seen that stuff. But I don't know what it is.
There wasn't much to go on, but it was all I had, and decided to follow the clue. On days 75 to 78, I hurried and made it to the Stony Peak Mountains. It was beautiful up here. Lots of stony peaks. Imagine that. Atop the peaks, I noticed something that actually wasn't a peak. It was an observatory. Right on, that's gotta be what I'm looking for. I knew it wouldn't be a walk in the park getting up the mountain, and I was right. Mobs, mobs, mobs. Say hello to my little friend. I used my new furnace sword. I was on fire. I kept swinging and swinging, hitting them as hard as I could. Eventually, I made it out on top to the top of the mountain. The fun had just begun. I was at the observatory door, facing 2 robot guards. I don't suppose you'd just let me pass.
Turn back. You are not permitted to enter.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I came this far, so either you're gonna let me through, or I'm gonna rip your arms out of your metal sockets.
Hostile enemy detected. Annihilate.
Looks like it'll be the hard way. I dodged their weapons and got a hold of them and let it rip. Didn't take too much to disassemble these dudes. I kicked open the doors and went ape crazy. I really tore it up in the place. There were plenty more robots as I searched the many hallways, and sure, they dealt me some damage, but I managed to obliterate them. You won't be back. I fought my way to the basement, but there was no sign of bubblegum. I couldn't help but wonder if I had come here for nothing. What if my friend wasn't here? No, I had to stop that kind of talk. I still had to search to the top. On days 79 to 84, I headed for the top of the observatory, and what do you suppose? That smug man in black was waiting for me at the top. Bubblegum was in a cage next to him. Well, 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 if it isn't the man in Splat. Get it? Because we tossed you off a skyscraper? I noticed there was a giant telescope pointed at the moon. Didn't anyone tell you it was rude to spy on people?
You don't know anything about me or this operation. I demand that you bring me the little green alien. I will trade you for your non-alien friend here.
Let me think about that. No. But you will give me back my Komodo dragon and leave us alone forever. And if not, well, then this conversation has got me really fired up. Let's rumble. We went head to head. This guy had all sorts of techie weapons. He knew he had to up his game against me. Clearly, he had expected this fight. We aimed, we hit, we blocked, we jumped. Why do you even want the alien? Just so you can torture him in your stupid little lab with your emotionally distraught guards? Yeah, that's right. I know all about your bagel incident. I won't let you hurt my friend.
Ugh, Fred, I'm so firing him when I get back. Listen, we aren't going to torture the aliens. I'm trying to protect it from violent animals, like you. And yes, we will study it a little, but nothing harmful. I saw that alien come down from the moon in my telescope. I've been searching for him ever since, and then you butted in.
We continued to fight, but I slowed down a bit. Oh, hold on. We both want to help Luno. That's the alien's name, by the way. You'd know that if you were friendly for once, instead of using force to get the alien. He needs help. There's a moon monster destroying their lives, and I'm going to help stop it. We stopped fighting.
That explains a lot of what I'm seeing in my telescope. I think I had the wrong idea about you, and I think you had the wrong idea about me. I'm sorry. I see now that you were looking out for the aliens, Luno's best interest. Maybe we better stop fighting each other and team up instead. What do you say?
Well, as much as I was looking forward to kicking your butt King Kong style, I guess we can let it be. Now, can you let my baby friend go, please?
Yeah, sorry. We thought she was an alien too.
You really need to get out more.
So, what was your plan to save the Lunarians?
Building that skyscraper to touch the moon. Then, I'll go to the moon and face the monster. We got Bubblegum out, and the man in black told me to return to the base and that he would be there soon. First, he needed some time to work on a tech weapon and started the trek home with Bubblegum. A jetpack would have been handy, but oh well, walking was fine. On days 85 to 89, I arrived back to the temple with the baby in tow. Luno greeted us excitedly. He couldn't believe I had found Bubblegum.
Nothing there is that you can't do. A hero you are.
I was excited to tell Luno all about the encounter with the man in black. I explained that he wasn't going to be a threat any longer, but in fact, he was going to help. Luno and Bubblegum went inside to catch up. I was lucky to have found those two. I didn't have a family, and if I really was a King Kong, it sounded like I was the only one. Family comes in many forms. There's the family you're born into, and the family you make along the way. A wandering trader interrupted my monologuing.
I've been watching you. I'm moved by how much you care for your friends. It reminds me of our good friend Johnny. Rip. He was always sticking his neck out for me and saving me from things. In his honor, I'd like to give you an upgrade, free of charge. This will make you even stronger, if you can imagine that.
I thanked him profusely. What a nice guy. I climbed up into the temple and realized I hadn't had much time for renovating the temple. I wanted it to look impressive for the man in black. I added upgrades and a lab area for the man in black, in case he needed it. It took a lot of hard work, but after a while, I was able to get everything completed. That's when I heard some shouting. Oh, what now? It was a piglin and a delivery person. They weren't in any trouble. Quite the opposite. They were excitedly letting me know that the deliveries were complete. Oh, thank you for your hard work. On day 90 to 94, I crafted the enchantment materials the trader had given me. I was able to fully enchant all my armor and gear. I was super excited about that. This armor is perfect. I was ready to finish the work on the skyscraper. I buzzed around, building it taller and taller and taller and taller. This skyscraper was truly a ridiculous height now, and it was practically out of the Earth's atmosphere. I steadily climbed to the very top of the skyscraper to see how much closer I needed to be to the moon. I realized I was having a hard time breathing. There wasn't much oxygen up here. I guess I hadn't thought about that. This could be my undoing. Just then, as if he had planned it this way, the man in black appeared beside me.
Nice work on the skyscraper, Zozo. It's looking pretty stellar. That's a word kids still use nowadays, right? At any rate, I made you the spacesuit to help you breathe out here.
Wow, I was really glad he and I were on the same team. I thanked him, and then he also gave me an item that would make me super strong.
Wait to use it until you're on the moon. With the change in gravity, it'll work really well. Just don't use it here on Earth. It hasn't been studied yet, and I don't think it'll have the same effects.
I guess that man in black wasn't so bad after all. On days 95 to 97, it was an exciting day. The skyscraper was finally complete. Now I really am king of the world. I knew that little tiny gorilla on the playground skyscraper would have been really proud of me now that I had come a long way. Pun intended. Luno joined me at the top. He was used to the atmosphere and didn't need anything special to breathe. So, what do you think?
Incredible it is. Strange to be back in space it is. I am scared to face the monster, but with you by my side, win. We will.
I told Luno to go back down to Earth and that he didn't need to come to the moon with me this time. Instead, I would let him know when it was safe again. Luno listened to me and went back down. I built a small bridge to connect the tip of the skyscraper to the moon. The bridge reminded me of how it's important to stay connected by subscribing to the channel, so we can always connect you to our exciting new adventures. On day 98, I took one small step for me, one great leap for the Lunarians. Houston, the King Kong has landed on the moon. It was so cool being on the moon. This gravity was crazy. I started to bounce around to take in my surroundings. I didn't see a single soul, but I did see a half-destroyed moon base. Something had definitely been here causing trouble. It was then that I remembered what the man in black gave me. I pulled out the strength potion and chugged it down. I could feel the power coursing through my veins. Whoa, this feels amazing. I started growing like crazy, becoming a mighty King Kong, just like the one the explorer had told me about. He was right, I did have it in me to to become a great Kong. Zong Kong. Zong Zong? Either way, I was mighty. And check out my hearts. Now that's what I'm talking about. All this commotion must have gotten the attention of the moon monster though, because he came out of his hiding space next to the ruined base. Prepare to meet your match. The monster opened up its mouth and breathed lasers at me. Whoa, I didn't expect that. I then crashed into him, knocking him off balance. He continued to shoot lasers at me. Ew, those lasers are wicked hot. We rolled and brawled all over the moon. He had some really powerful attacks. They hurt and did some major damage to my health. I wouldn't have stood a chance if it wasn't for this mega strength potion I took, so I sucker punched him real hard. I opened my mouth to test out my supersized roar, but the sound waves didn't work right on the moon. Shoot, I was really hoping to use that ability. I would just have to make do with what I had. Heart counts for a lot, and I was doing this for the creatures I cared for. On day 99, the fight raged on, and I found myself losing. This beast was just too powerful, and I was sure he had advantages of being on his own turf. I was pushed towards my skyscraper. I had to make a decision. If I didn't retreat now, I could lose the battle altogether. I got onto the bridge and started destroying it as I ran across to the skyscraper. At least I'd have the last minute to regroup and heal myself before... Oh no, the beast took a running leap and jumped onto the skyscraper. I just let this heinous creature off the moon. Oh, this was bad. This was very bad. I couldn't allow him to climb down and start destroying Earth, and it was all my fault. I fought with all my might, and I was super weak now. Things are not looking good. I think this is the end. The monster got ready to deliver his final blow when suddenly he stopped. He was frozen. I looked around. To my great relief and surprise, I saw not just Luna, but a bunch of other little aliens that looked just like him. They were using their mind powers together, bravely and triumphantly. You saved me.
Saved us, you did. Showed us bravery, you did. Help Zozo, we must. Now, finish him.
They positioned the monster on the edge of the tower, and I used all my King Kong strength to knock him into next week. He fell from the skyscraper, down, down, down to his death. We had done it, together! On day 100, we were back at the Jungle Temple.
I figure you guys might like this big telescope for my base. That way you can check in on your family super easily.
I really misjudged you, Man in Black.
You can call me Kim.
Kim, I'm really glad we're friends now. Please feel free to visit anytime you like. It was time to say goodbye to my space friend. I didn't want to tell him, but I was super sad about him leaving. He felt like family to me, but he had his real family to get home to, and I would not get in the way of that. I guess this is goodbye. I'll never forget you. We all looked up at the moon together.
I'll never forget you either, because returning home, I am not doing. I wish to stay here.
I couldn't believe my ears. I was so happy to hear he wanted to stay. It was the perfect situation, and Bubblegum was really happy to hear that Luna was staying too, and waved at the Lunarians, waving back at us.
On day 1, I spawned as a little baby monkey in a banana tree. But I only have 3 hearts! As a monkey, I can climb trees. This is awesome! But where are all my monkey friends? I was all alone when suddenly an ocelot started stealing all the bananas from my tree. Ouch, what did I do to you? I didn't have any weapons to fight, so I quickly jumped down from the tree and ran away.
Whew, that was a close one. This water will be a peaceful place to catch my breath.
Just when I thought I was safe, I ran into a crocodile. Ah, oh no! He wanted to eat me, but I couldn't fight him either, so I climbed up the tree to get away.
After reaching the top, I broke the leaves and took a look around.
This looks like a good place to hide for the night. I finally felt safe, but I couldn't help but wonder, why was I the only monkey at the tree?
As I watched the sunset, I thought about how beautiful but dangerous this world is. How could a little monkey like me ever make a difference? I just need to find some friends and lay low, but I'll focus on that later and get some rest.
On day 2, I returned to the banana tree and the ocelot was gone. I'm hungry. I need some of these bananas. I decided to grab as many as I could to take with me on my journey ahead. I didn't see any other monkeys around, so I spent the day gathering wood and stone to make myself some stone tools. While I was doing that, I stumbled across a village of other monkeys.
Wow, this place looks great. I'll have to ask someone if they've seen my tribe. I made my way to the top of the hill and saw a wise old monkey looking out at the village.
Hey, have you seen any other monkeys like me around? My new friend explained to me that the banana trees in the area were slowly disappearing, and the monkeys were too. I couldn't believe it, so I grabbed any supplies I could around the village and then left to search for my tribe. By day 3, I had found a nice little forest to call my new home. This will work great! I climbed up the tallest tree and started working on a treehouse for myself. It was hard work, but I'm not afraid of a little hard work. I took a break from building to work on my food source. I planted some banana trees, which grew really fast.
Wow, that is one good-looking banana tree. Let's see what these bananas are like.
I picked the bananas off the tree and saw they were special golden bananas. I couldn't wait to take a bite. Wow, these are so good! Suddenly I grew into an adult monkey with 5 hearts. All right, 2 more hearts! I feel stronger and have a jump boost. I can run faster too! With my new abilities, I finished my treehouse in no time. It's not much, but it's a place to call home. That night I started hearing horrible noises outside my treehouse. When I took a look, my house was surrounded by spiders. Oh great, I totally forgot to put torches at the bottom of my base. I hope I can fight these guys off. Good thing I just made myself a sword. Get back, you creepy crawlers! I won't let you get me! It was a tough fight, but I was able to clear them all out. Maybe I'm tougher than I thought. Or maybe it was just my new sword. Yeah, probably that. With the spiders gone, I could finally get some much needed sleep.
On days 4 and 5, I set off to try and find my monkey family, but I ran into the ocelot I saw before. Hey, what are you doing here? He demanded that I give him my bananas so he could give them to his boss. No way I'm not giving you my bananas. Who is your boss and why does he want them? He told me his boss Buff Tiger didn't answer to anyone, especially not little monkeys like me. Before I could respond, he attacked me. Ouch, I'm not letting you pick on me this time. That ocelot was way stronger than I thought and hit me really hard. Luckily, I could climb trees and jump really high so I could easily get out of the way and hit him back. It took everything I had, but I was able to wear him down and take him out. That was exhausting, but at least I know who I'm up against. But I still had so many questions. Why did they want bananas? And who is this Buff Tiger guy? What kind of name is that anyway? I was able to beat the ocelot, but there was clearly a bigger fight ahead, so I headed back home to prepare for the battle to come. On days 6 to 8, I found a cave to do some mining. If I was going to get to the bottom of this, I needed the gear to do it. Whoa, this cave is huge. I bet I'll be able to find all kinds of resources in here. While I was down there, I found flint, coal, and iron. When I got home, I crafted some furnaces, smelted the iron, and crafted an iron axe, pickaxe, sword, as well as some iron boots. It's just a little bit of protection, but these boots are better than nothing. By then, night had fallen and I could hear noises coming from outside the base. Hello? Who's there? I broke a hole in my fencing and took a peek over the edge. It was a bunch of zombies. Oh shoot, I forgot to put out torches again. Hey guys, we don't have to fight. Why don't you just leave me alone? Alright, suit yourself. They didn't seem too happy with me being there. Eat iron, flesh face. They left me with no choice, so I fought back with my new sword and won. That felt like a much easier fight with my new equipment. I was feeling better already, but definitely needed some rest, so I hopped into bed for the night. On days 9 and 10, I woke up hungry. I had some more bananas to eat, but I needed to find something more filling than that. I decided to make a boat and use it to explore along the river. When I was exploring, I saw another village in the distance. I'm sure the monkeys there can help me find something good to eat, but as I entered the village, it was empty. Where is everyone? Something seems off. The place was deserted, so I helped myself to some wheat and watermelons to take back home. As I was rowing back home, I saw something moving in the trees. Those must be the missing monkeys from the village. But who's that? On a lower tree, I saw a tiger. Could that be the buff tiger I'd been hearing so much about? He didn't look so buff to me. It looked like he was trapping those monkeys. I had to save them. I quickly climbed up a nearby tree and called out to him. Hey, what do you think you're doing with those monkeys?
I'm taking these monkeys captive so they can build things for me. It's incredibly difficult when you don't have thumbs.
I don't care how many thumbs you have. It isn't right. I didn't have a second to lose. I quickly jumped up the other trees to try and get to the trapped monkeys. Buff Tiger saw what I was doing and started moving towards them too. I had to beat him to the top. When I reached the top, I hurried and made a bridge for the monkeys to escape. Quick everyone, run across and we can get out of here. Buff Tiger let out a roar, which seemed to freeze all of them except for one, who hurried and ran across the bridge to my tree. Watch out! Buff Tiger jumped across the tree and broke the end of the bridge, blocking the rest of the monkeys off. I couldn't believe it. I was getting ready to try and jump across when the other monkey called out to me.
Don't attack him. He's stronger than he looks. We'll have to try and rescue them later.
All I could do was watch as he led them all away. Come on, let's hurry and get out of here. My new friend and I hurried out of the tree and jumped into a boat. Once we had reached the shore, she explained to me how Buff Tiger had kidnapped them from the nearby village. We decided we would team up and stop him. By the way, what's your name?
My friends call me Chim Chim.
Nice to meet you, Chim Chim. Now let's go kick some tiger tail. On days 11 through 14, Chim Chim and I arrived at the base and got right to work building a space for her to live in. We extended the base over to the nearby tree and put up some torches. Hey, this is looking really great. It's going to be nice having a roommate around. With Chim Chim set up, I headed out to find some more supplies for the fight ahead. I was walking along when I started hearing a weird noise. What in the world is that? I cut some grass and almost stepped on a Komodo dragon. Ah, get away! I tried hitting it with my sword, but it hit back hard. Oh man, I don't feel so good. The dragon had poisoned me, which brought me down to half a heart. I gotta get out of here. While I was running away, I came across some chickens, which gave me an idea. Hey guys, I need your feathers. I'm sure you won't mind. Hearing no complaints, I gathered up all their feathers, put down a crafting table, and made myself a bow and some arrows. That dragon won't stand a chance against me now. I ran back over to the dragon and hopped up a tree. Haha, good luck getting to me this time. I shot off a couple arrows before the dragon tried to charge me. You can't get me up here. I fired one more arrow and took him out. This thing is definitely going to come in handy. From there, I headed into a dark forest and gathered some wood, mushrooms, dirt, and stone. Once I collected that, I started a mine near my base. While I was down in the mines, I got some iron, gold, and coal. I better go get crafting. I headed back into the base where Chim Chim watched me craft a new set of iron armor. I also put together a spear. I wasn't going to need my sword anymore, so I tossed that over to Chim Chim. Hopefully you won't need this, but hold on to it, just in case. Next, I headed down to the water and cleared out an area to plant a farm. I took out my hoe, tilled the ground, and then planted some wheat seeds. I also made sure to plant some watermelon as well, since it was Chim Chim's favorite food. Then I put down some wood and set up some cocoa beans. Wow, this little starter camp is already starting to look like a home. On day 15, Chim Chim woke me up before the sun had risen. Chim Chim, what's going on?
I couldn't sleep. There's a monkey that I think you need to meet, and he can't wait.
Another monkey? Lead the way. Chim Chim led me out of the base and we entered a dark forest. It's a good thing you know where you're going, otherwise I'd be completely lost. We soon came across a small hut hidden in the thick trees. We entered the hut and inside was a monkey shaman. Hey there, what's going on? The shaman looked deep into my eyes.
The great spirits have long foretold the day when a cursed tiger will seek to enslave all monkeys. They prophesied that he will steal all the bananas and use that to capture and control all the monkeys to do his will. But all hope would not be lost. A monkey would be sent to us who will master the land and defeat the tiger. Zozo, you are that monkey.
I was stunned. No, it's not possible. I couldn't stop Buff Tiger before. How could I be the monkey of legend? I don't have the strength or weapons to possibly save everyone. I'm sorry, but you got the wrong guy. I was too embarrassed to stay there any longer, so I left the hut to head home. I needed to get some rest. On days 16 through 19, I woke up and noticed that Chim Chim was missing. I looked all around the base but couldn't find her anywhere. Chim Chim! I couldn't think of where she would go, but there was one place I knew that was incredibly dangerous. I really hoped she wouldn't be there. As I walked to the edge of the cliff, I could see Chim Chim trapped in the lava. Hang on, Chim Chim, I'm coming to rescue you. I quickly laid down some blocks and made a bridge to where she was trapped. She must have left the base without bringing any supplies. Quick, come across here before the lava rises anymore. We ran back across to safety. Chim Chim, what were you doing out there? I was really worried about you.
After you told the shaman you wouldn't help, I couldn't wait around and do nothing. I was trying to go and find my captured monkey friends when I got trapped.
That was really brave of you. You know what? I'll help. I don't think I'm the monkey they're talking about, but if you want to fight Buff Tiger, I can fight too. That seemed to really cheer Chim Chim up. But before we could leave, we heard a squawk from near the lava. We went to take a look and saw an emu trapped on the other side. He needs some help. Don't worry, buddy, I've got you. I put some blocks down and made a bridge for the emu to get across the lava. He followed me across, and so I built some ladders for us to climb out of the hole. When we reached the top, I asked him what he was doing down there. Turns out he actually lived there, but had gotten trapped when the lava started rising. He explained that he heard us talking about Buff Tiger and knew something he thought might help. He said he had heard about a legendary ancient weapon made specifically to fight tigers. That sounds amazing! What is it and where do we find it? He wished us luck but told us he didn't know where it was, but said if we ran into any other animals, we should be sure to ask them if they know anything. After the emu had left, I was feeling more confident that we could do this. Suddenly, I felt a burst of energy and gained 2 more hearts. I even grew a little in size. All right, Chim Chim, we can figure this out. Let's head back to the base. On days 20 to 22, we got back to the base and saw it was surrounded by creepers. Get back, you mutated pig freaks. I quickly charged with my spear and made sure the creepers couldn't damage our base. After the creepers were gone, Chim Chim said she had something she wanted to talk to me about.
You know, I don't think you give yourself enough credit. You're actually much braver than you think. How do you do it?
Thanks, Chim. Maybe I am too hard on myself. When I get scared, there is one thing that always helps me. I always think of my hero. He's a big, banana-loving, necktie-wearing ape who isn't afraid of anything.
He sounds amazing. I think we should build a statue in his honor. That way we can always remember to be brave.
I thought that was a great idea, but before I headed off to get supplies, I finally went ahead and put some torches around the bottom of the tree to stop mobs from spawning there. Yeah, this may have been a little overdue. Then I headed off to the woods to cut down some trees. I wanted the statue to be huge, so I was going to need a ton of wood. I also went out and found some sheep so I could use their wool. I built them a pen and then harvested some cocoa beans so I could dye the sheep brown. This will be the perfect color for the statue. Chim Chim and I then cleared out a space to put the statue. It's going to take a lot of time to build this, but I think it's going to look really cool when we're all done. Once we had finished clearing a space, we started on the first part of the statue. I was glad Chim Chim was there to help. Adventures are always better when they're with a friend. After a lot of hard work, we finally finished the first part. And hey, this is actually the first video I've ever made. If you like it so far, it would mean the world to me if you subscribed and turned on notifications. That way you'll be sure to catch my next adventure. On days 23 to 27, I was in my base when suddenly a zombie in full armor came around the corner. Whoa, where did you come from? Get back, you undead creep. I managed to beat him down with my spear and noticed he dropped some kind of special item. What's this? It looks like some kind of Swiss Army knife. I didn't know anything about this new item, so I decided to head to the desert and test it out. I saw some husks wandering around and gave it a swing. Whoa, this thing can set stuff on fire. There were some rattlesnakes nearby too, so I went and tested it out on them as well. Piece of cake. Then I went and tested it out on some sand and a cactus. It looks like this thing is just as good as a shovel or an axe. A tool this versatile is definitely going to help me in the future. With my test complete, I headed back home. When I arrived at the base, I saw Chim Chim talking to a couple of horses and a donkey. He explained that he heard this was a place safe from Buff Tiger and wanted to stay here too. The more the merrier, my friends. We'd be happy to have you. Our new friends are going to need a place to stay, so I cleared some space at the bottom of the tree and built them a small shelter to live in. That reminded me, I didn't want any more surprise guests climbing into my base, so I broke all of the vines off the trunk of my tree. I am a monkey after all. I definitely didn't need these vines. On days 28 to 32, I went and asked my new horse friend if he knew anything about the legendary weapon the emu had mentioned. He told me he didn't know what the weapon was, but had come across a group of anteaters in a distant forest who were collectors of interesting objects. How can I find these anteaters? I don't know if I can travel that far for that long. He told me that I should hop on his back and he could show me the way. He would get me there in no time. I threw a saddle on the horse's back and we took off into the distance. Chim Chim could keep an eye on things until I got back. After a while, we came to a bridge, but a snapping turtle was blocking the way. Uh-oh, he doesn't look friendly. Let me see if he'll let us pass. Hey there, do you mind letting us by?
Hey you, get out of here! This area is controlled by Buff Tiger. No monkeys allowed.
No monkeys allowed? We'll see about that. I gave him a hit with my spear, but that was a mistake. He was strong. I quickly ran back and hopped on my horse friend's back. Quick, let's jump across using that tree over there. There was a large tree in the middle of the gap, so we hopped on top of it and then jumped to the other side. See you around, slowpoke. We had gotten by, but this land was controlled by Buff Tiger? I'd have to keep an eye out for anything suspicious. On days 33 to 36, we found the group of anteaters hanging out in a forest clearing. Hey guys, I heard you may know something about a legendary item that could defeat Buff Tiger?
Are you looking for me?
Who is that? I looked to my side and standing on top of a tree was Buff Tiger.
So, you think some magical object can defeat me? You haven't even seen a fraction of my power. How about we settle this right here, right now?
With a roar, Buff Tiger hit me. There was no way I could take him on right now. The best thing I could do was get him to leave the area. I had an idea. Over here, you big brute. I quickly ran back toward the cliff.
Where do you think you're going?
When he got close, I hit him with my Swiss Army knife, which caused him to catch on fire. On fire, he had no choice but to jump into the river, which carried him away.
This isn't over. I will find you.
With Buff Tiger gone, I hurried back to the clearing and saw the anteater leader waiting for me.
We knew Buff Tiger was hunting monkeys, but it seems like he is attacking anyone who opposes him.
I'm sorry to hear it. Buff Tiger will be back though, and it's not safe here anymore. You and your family are welcome to come and live at my base.
Thank you, we would love that.
On days 37 to 40, I had arrived back to the base with our new anteater friends. While they checked out the new area, Chim Chim and I went to work building them their own wing of the base. We wanted to be sure they felt comfortable after having to flee from their homes. We soon finished and the anteaters moved into their new space. Once they were moved in, I talked to their leader and asked him if he knew anything about the legendary item.
I have heard of this item before, yes. I don't know what powers it possesses, but I know it can be found in the northern ice fields. The seals there should know more about it.
The ice fields, huh? Sounds cold for a monkey. I'll have to make sure I prepare myself for that journey. But before I could do that, Chim Chim and I got to work on the next part of the statue. Things were really starting to come along and I felt like maybe if I could finish the statue before I faced Buff Tiger, I could have the courage and bravery of my hero. But while we got a lot done, finishing it was a task for another day. From days 41 to 43, I headed to the mines to do some mining. I was hoping to find some diamonds to upgrade my gear. While I was headed there, one of the anteaters came running up to me from a nearby cave.
Hey, are you looking for diamonds?
I am actually. Do you know where to find them? He explained that there were diamonds in the cave he had just come out of, but there was a cave centipede blocking the way. If I could kill the centipede, he'd let me have all the diamonds. You're scared of a little centipede? I can squish that, no problem. I headed over to the cave and peeked around the corner. The centipede was way bigger than I thought. No wonder the anteater was scared. I saw a stack of blocks I could climb up, so I climbed to the top and took out my bow. I can shoot him from up here where he can't reach me, no problem. I started shooting him with arrows, but he crawled up the wall and hit me. Uh-oh, he can climb walls too. His hits had poisoned me, which brought me down to half a heart. My knife's durability was also running out. If it broke, I was toast. Luckily, I was able to finish him off. Whew, that was way too close. With the centipede out of the way, I now noticed that there was a big stash of diamonds at the end of the tunnel. Awesome, now I'll finally be able to upgrade my tools to diamond. I quickly mined out all of the diamonds, and then I worked on crafting a diamond pickaxe, sword, axe, and shovel. I also had a few extras, so I made myself a diamond helmet. On days 44 to 49, I left the base to travel to the northern ice fields and find the seals the anteaters had told me about. Oh boy, it's freezing. I hope I can find these guys quickly. I don't know how long I can stay out in this. As I was climbing over some snow, I heard a sound coming from the other side. The seals must be over this hill. I jumped over the hill and was surprised to see a couple of polar bears who immediately started to attack me. I took out my new diamond sword and fought back. I'm much stronger now. You won't be able to take me down. After a few hits, the polar bears were down. Even I was surprised at how quickly I was able to defeat them. Maybe I could be the monkey of legend after all. I kept running across the ice fields when I saw someone getting attacked by a couple polar bears in the distance. As I got closer, I saw it was a huge orangutan fighting them off. By the time I had reached him, he had taken out both of the bears. He was really strong. Hey there, I didn't expect to see another monkey all the way out here. What brings you out this far? The orangutan didn't respond right away, but instead slowly looked me up and down.
It's going to get cold soon. We'll need to build a camp for the night.
Yeah, okay. The orangutan and I quickly worked together to build an igloo. He didn't say much while we worked, and I was starting to get an uneasy feeling about him. But maybe he was just suspicious of me too. I decided I would try and find out. I started up a fire in the igloo, and he surprised me by asking me a question first.
So, what are you doing out here?
I'm looking for the seals. I was told by the monkey shaman that I'm the monkey of legend, and there are rumors of a legendary weapon that can help me defeat Buff Tiger.
The shaman must have lost it. How could a small monkey like you be the monkey of legend? No. I spoke to the shaman and he told me it was my destiny to save the monkeys. It must be your job to help me find the item.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing, but maybe he was right. He was so strong and had taken down 2 polar bears with no weapons at all. I knew the shaman had the wrong monkey. Okay, you're probably right. I'll help you in your quest. I know we need to find the seals, but I don't know where they are.
They're living in a secret city not far from here. We'll go there in the morning.
We both settled down for the night. I couldn't believe I thought I was the monkey of legend. On days 50 to 53, we traveled across the ice fields and soon saw the entrance to the hidden seal village. But before we could get any closer, we ran into the snapping turtle I had seen near the anteater village. You again? How did you get all the way out here? The turtle didn't respond and attacked us. I charged and noticed the orangutan hesitated before joining the fight. But once he joined, we were able to defeat him easily. Thanks for the help. You had me worried for a second there. He didn't respond to that and we headed into the seal village. We soon found the king of the village and asked for his help. He explained to us that although the city was hidden, they too were afraid of Buff Tiger. When we asked him if he knew of the legendary item, he told us that it wasn't located here. Instead, he had a map to its location, which he shared with us. Thanks for sharing this with us. We'll find the item and save everyone. From days 54 to 57, we traveled back to my base and I saw that Chim Chim had found a lot more monkeys. I'm so glad we're able to help all these monkeys. Chim Chim and I got to work on expanding the base. As we worked, I told Chim Chim about everything that had happened. When I told her how the orangutan was actually the monkey of legend, she didn't believe me.
The shaman has never been wrong before. I don't know if I trust that orangutan. I believe in you, Zozo. Keep an eye out for anything suspicious.
While we were talking, the anteater I'd saved from the centipede showed up again.
Zozo, I need your help again. My little brother was playing in the jungle and got trapped in a jungle temple. Can you rescue him?
I didn't have a moment to spare. Jungle temples were full of traps that could hurt a little anteater. I ran into the jungle and soon found the temple. I could hear the little guy trapped inside. Don't worry, I'm coming for you. As I made my way through the temple, I carefully broke the traps and managed to reach him. And just like that, the little anteater was free. All right, buddy, there you go. The little anteater ran out and I decided to check the chest for any good loot. Whoa, check it out, diamonds. And what's this? A diamond destroyer? This will help me break a bunch of blocks at the same time and does major damage. Nice! On days 58 to 62, Chim Chim and I got to work on our hero statue. It was really starting to come along and I was happy with how it looked. Every time we finished more, I couldn't help but feel a little more brave. I guess that mattered a little less with the orangutan around though, but it was good for me anyway. Speaking of the orangutan, I hadn't seen him in a while. What could he be up to? I was heading back to the base when I saw it was surrounded by snow leopards. These are followers of Buff Tiger. How do they find the base? I ran up and started attacking all the leopards. How did you find us? Take this! There were so many of them, but they didn't stand a chance against my new weapon. I started to take them out one by one. I had the last leopard cornered when I heard one of the chests in my base opening. Someone was in my base. I quickly climbed up the tree as the last snow leopard ran away. When I reached the top, I saw the orangutan was stealing the legendary item map from my chest. He must have told Buff Tiger where my base was. Why are you doing this? You were the chosen one.
I'm sorry, Zozo, but I lied to you about being the monkey of legend. I needed you to trust me so you could lead me back to your base. Buff Tiger said he would kill my family if I didn't help him find you. I've seen how brave you are. You must be the monkey of legend.
You don't have to do this. Stay and help me. We can defeat Buff Tiger if we work together.
I can't lose my family. I have to bring this map to Buff Tiger and try to save them. I'm sorry.
And before I could stop him, he jumped over the edge of the treehouse and escaped into the woods. Wait a second. If he told them about my base, he must have told them about the hidden seal base too. From days 63 to 66, I ran across the land and into the ice fields to find the seal village, but it was too late. Oh no, the village is in ruins. Buff Tiger must have beaten me here. As I ran into the village, I could see that the village was destroyed. Then I saw the Seal King, and he was greatly wounded.
Zozo, when we told Buff Tiger we didn't have the map, he attacked. He forced us to tell us where the map led to. Hurry and go to the Badland Mines. He'll be going there to try and find the weapon first.
I'll go find it and I'll stop him. You have my word. Just then, the snow leopard from before jumped down and killed the Seal King. No, how could you? I pulled out my destroyer and quickly finished him off. I couldn't waste any more time. I had to hurry and get to the mines. From days 67 to 70, I traveled to the Badlands to locate the mines. As I was getting closer, I saw someone entering the mines. It was Buff Tiger. He was going to beat me to the treasure. I can't let him beat me again. As I got closer to the entrance, something jumped down from a nearby cliff. It was a giant rocky roller. Get out of my way, I'm coming in. The rocky roller took one look at me and charged. I took a swing, but he knocked me back a lot farther than I thought he would. I don't know if I can beat this guy. I kept trying to hit him, but he took down nearly all of my health. Just then, I saw someone coming over the hill. It was the orangutan. He punched the rocky roller and they started to fight. The rocky roller hit him several times, but the orangutan was able to hit him more. But before the orangutan could deliver the final blow, the rocky roller was able to escape. You're back.
I'm sorry for everything, Zozo. When I returned to Buff Tiger, he didn't release my family and tried to capture me too. I ran away and knew I had to come help you.
Boy, am I glad you showed up. Stay here and heal up. I'll see if I can still get to the item inside. On days 71 to 74, I snuck into the mines to see if I could tell where Buff Tiger had gone. I looked around and saw there were a bunch of lanterns down one of the hallways. Buff Tiger must have put these here. This should lead me right to him. I followed the lanterns until I came to a dead end, full of treasure, chests, and some cobwebs. This must be where the item is kept. I can't imagine it's still in here. I took a look in the chest. There was some good treasure, but no special item. Buff Tiger had beaten me to it again. What was I gonna do now? I had no idea where Buff Tiger's base was. I saw a tunnel leading out, which Buff Tiger must have used to escape. I made my way back out of the cave and met back up with the orangutan. Come on, let's head back to the base so we can help you heal and come up with a plan. On days 75 to 78, Chim Chim and I worked on a shelter for the orangutan. He was a big guy, so we needed to make sure he had a nice place to stay. Once we were finished, the orangutan called me over to him.
I'm sorry again for everything, Zozo. Here, I think these supplies will be useful for you.
He threw down a Heart of the Sea, shark teeth, and prismarine blocks. Wow, thank you. I know just what to do with these. I headed over to a crafting table and used the supplies to make myself a shield of the deep. Nothing is going to get through this. Next, I headed over to my farm to get some supplies. As I was harvesting my crops, the rocky roller came out of nowhere and attacked me again. You again? I'm ready for you this time. By using my new shield, I was able to block his attacks and hit him with my hammer. He was still tough, but with my new tools, I beat him easily this time. And stay down. After the fight, I felt some serious power coursing through me, and I turned into a giant silverback gorilla. Whoa, I'm huge now, and look, I have 20 hearts. I was so excited, I almost didn't notice the rocky roller had left a book behind. I picked it up and looked inside. It looks like these are orders from Buff Tiger. In the back of the book, it also had coordinates to the rocky roller's base. If I go there, I might be able to find out where Buff Tiger is keeping all the monkeys. I also noticed he had dropped a redstone torch. I better hang on to this. It could be helpful. On days 79 to 84, I used the book to travel to the rocky roller's base. I arrived at the coordinates and there was nothing there. There's nothing here, but these are the right coordinates. Did I miss something? I took a look around and saw there was a lever hiding behind some rocks. I pulled the lever and a secret door opened. Bingo, this must be it. After I entered the base, I heard someone walk up behind me. It was a lion. He must be an ally of Buff Tiger.
Hang on there. I'm not looking for a fight. I want to defeat Buff Tiger too.
Why would you want to do that? Aren't you cats in it together?
Not at all. In fact, tigers are one of our greatest enemies. Help me search this base and we can bring him down together.
He didn't look like he wanted to fight, so I agreed to work together. We both entered the base to have a look around. There wasn't a whole lot down here and it didn't seem like there was anything of use. Then I noticed some redstone markings on the wall. Wait a second, the rocky roller dropped a redstone torch. I wonder what happens if I put it here. I placed the redstone torch and the blocks moved, revealing a secret room. What could be in here? Inside the room there was a book. I opened it and saw there were some weird symbols inside. These are coordinates to Buff Tiger's base, but someone needs to decipher the code. I know someone who can help. Come on, let's get out of here. But as I started to leave the base, the lion hit the lever and closed the doors before I could get out. Hey, what's the big idea? Open the door.
I can't let you do that, monkey. It's true, I want to defeat Buff Tiger, but that's so I can be the Lion King. All monkeys should be serving me, not him.
We'll see about that. I took out my destroyer and shield and started fighting him. With my new strength, he didn't stand a chance. He got some hits in, but I was able to strike the fatal blow in no time. On days 85 to 89, I headed to the monkey shaman's hut. I knew he would be able to translate the coordinates. When I arrived, the shaman opened his door and walked out.
Zozo, is it really you? My, how you have grown since we last met.
I need your help. I found the coordinates to Buff Tiger's base, but it's in some kind of strange language. Can you read it?
Ah, that's because these are coordinates for a place not of this world, a different dimension entirely.
Not of this world? But he's a tiger. They live in this world.
He may look like a tiger now, but he is hiding a dark secret. Take this tiger pearl and build a portal. It will take you where you need to go.
I took the pearl and started heading back to the base. What did he mean, a dark secret? I guess I would find out soon enough. From days 90 to 94, I headed deep underground and found some obsidian and some copper. While I was down there, I also came across some diamonds. This is just what I needed. I can use this to finish making my armor. Once I had all of the supplies I needed, I headed up to the surface and crafted the rest of my diamond armor. Then I smelted all the copper and made some copper blocks. Then finally, I equipped the rest of my diamond armor. Now I'm ready for a fight. Then I headed outside and put together the special portal. I was all geared up to travel to Buff Tiger's base, but there were still a few more things I needed to finish first. From days 95 to 96, I grabbed Chim Chim and we worked on finishing the statue. I felt like I couldn't face Buff Tiger without finishing it first. This was a monkey I looked up to, and it felt like this was one of the final steps of my preparation. Soon, the statue was complete.
This looks amazing, Zozo. I think your monkey hero would be proud. I'll give you a minute to take it in.
I think so too. Thanks for all of your help, Chim. I couldn't have done it without you. Chim Chim headed back to the base and I took a long look at the finished statue. Suddenly, I heard a voice coming from the statue.
Zozo, I've been watching your progress. You have a big fight ahead of you, but you can do it. You're a braver monkey than I ever was. You are the monkey of legend.
Thank you. That means so much to me. I feel like I've finally gotten strong enough to be worthy of the title.
You were always worthy. Remember, it's not about how big you are on the outside, but how big you are on the inside. Good luck.
Tomorrow, I'm taking the fight to Buff Tiger's front door. On days 97 to 98, I took time to visit with all the animals who had joined our new home. Many of them were scared, but I assured them I would find their friends and families and bring them home. Secretly though, I was feeling nervous because I still hadn't gotten the legendary weapon. Finally, I was ready to light the portal, but as I walked up to it, Chim Chim jumped down in front of me. What's wrong, Chim?
I can't let you go in there alone. I want to help.
I know. I wish you could come with me, but if anything happens to me, everyone here is going to need a strong leader to help them move on. We can't risk losing you too. Chim Chim nodded and moved out of the way. Before I go through, is there anything else you need to say?
Yes, everyone who is watching the video should like it and subscribe. There are going to be so many more adventures, and we want everyone to be able to follow along.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Chim. Well, here goes nothing. I took a deep breath and threw the tiger pearl into the portal. On day 99, I suddenly appeared on the other side of the portal, standing in a dense jungle. I looked out over the treetops and could see a sprawling city before me. I made my way down the trees and into the city streets. Look at all of this. There's no way a tiger built this. He must have built this with all the monkeys he took prisoner. As I wandered through the city, I saw a sign pointing to the prison. That must be where the monkeys are. I made my way there and soon saw the large prison building. I climbed up the wall and ran into a snow leopard on top. I quickly finished him off and then jumped into the prison yard below. I could see all the monkeys in cages. Don't worry everyone, I'll break you out. I kept fighting the guards until they were all destroyed. Then I quickly started breaking all the cages. Go free everyone, you need to all leave before Buff Tiger shows up. As I broke the rest of the cages, all I could think about was finding the legendary weapon. I had to find it before I faced Buff Tiger, but at least now all the monkeys were free. On day 100, I saw a sign pointing to the palace. That must be Buff Tiger's palace. I'll bet he keeps the legendary item in there. I made my way into the palace and took out a couple of guards. The place was nearly empty. Buff Tiger must be out capturing more monkeys. I then made my way into the basement where I saw a banana katana floating over a pedestal. Could that be what I think it is? Legendary banana katana, infused with potassium. This is it! I heard a tiger growl outside. Buff Tiger, you must be back. I walked outside and saw Buff Tiger was waiting for me, with an ocelot by his side. Buff Tiger, this ends today. I have the ultimate weapon.
Huh, you really think that rusty artifact can do anything to me? Did you even look at its durability?
I looked closer and saw that he was right. The weapon was nearly destroyed. But this was a weapon of legend, wasn't it? Surely it was stronger than it looked.
Get him.
The ocelot charged. I swung the banana katana and killed the ocelot in one hit, but the weapon broke.
Haha, you see what happens when you believe in fairy tales? I was going to let you work for me, but I think I will just end you instead.
Suddenly, everything began to shake, and Buff Tiger transformed into an even stronger tiger. This must have been the dark secret the shaman was talking about. How am I going to defeat him? I'm not strong enough. Suddenly, I remembered the words of my hero. It's not about how big you are on the outside, it's how big you are on the inside. He was right. The true power had been in me all along. I was ready. Alright, Buff Tiger, let's dance. We charged at each other and exchanged blows. He was incredibly strong, but by using my shield and special powers, I was able to stay in the fight.
Why won't you die, you scum?
You messed with the wrong monkey. I could feel myself getting stronger with every hit I landed. I was winning. I'm sending you into another dimension, one where you can't come back. With a final strike, Buff Tiger was finally defeated. After Buff Tiger had disappeared, I climbed the hill and saw some monkeys celebrating. Finally, we can all go home.
On day 1, I spawned into the beautiful flower forest as an elemental monkey. This is awesome! I'm out here living my best monkey life. But some people didn't want me to live my best monkey life. Or rather, some skeletons. I saw one of them coming towards me through the flowers.
Trespasser, stop in the name of the law. You shouldn't be here.
But I just spawned here. It isn't my fault. How about you just point the way out and I'll leave?
It doesn't work like that. There are spies everywhere, and if I have a reason to believe you're one of them, I'm taking you in for interrogation.
I really didn't want to be interrogated, so in sheer panic, I just turned and ran as fast as I could until I couldn't even see the scary skeleton behind me. I don't know why they're picking on me. I'm just a baby elemental monkey with 10 hearts. It's not like I could do any real damage to them. But my thoughts were interrupted when suddenly another skeleton with a bow popped out in front of me.
Stop right there, criminal! You make any sudden movements, and you'll taste the steel of my arrowheads.
Okay, what do you want me to do? I'll follow your commands if you don't hurt me.
Come with me then, and no funny stuff. My arrow finger is extremely itchy.
And so, I followed the skeleton through the flower forest, worrying about my future. On day 2, the skeleton with the bow led me towards a dark, dreary base in the middle of the flower forest. It didn't look like anything good went on in there. Maybe we can just talk this out, Mr. Skeleton?
You've already tried to run, criminal. That's why we're keeping you on a short leash. We'll talk, sure, but only when we have you behind bars. Now move it.
I was sent into the deep, dark depths of the base and locked away in a large and sinister holding cell. But I wasn't the only one in there. There was also a wandering trader.
A fellow businessman, unfairly imprisoned for merely trying to make a living in this hard, cold world. It isn't easy being a wandering trader in this world, is it, my boy?
Oh, I think you're a little confused. I'm not a wandering trader. I'm an elemental monkey who just got trapped after I spawned. My name's Zozo.
Oh, Zozo, I see. Well, either way, we're in this together, old chap. Perhaps we could start a business. $1 million idea. We'll be rich, I tell you. Rich!
I don't know if we'll ever make any money if we're still trapped in here. We need to figure out a way to escape. I wonder if I have any elemental monkey powers. I concentrated hard, and suddenly, I fired an ice blast. Okay, this has potential. I blasted ice against the wall until a section of it was frozen, and then smashed through it, freeing myself and the wandering trader.
Brilliant work, my friend. I'd go with you, but I need to go speak with my shareholders. May we meet again, Zozo?
Good luck with all your, business stuff, trader. I ran off, feeling pretty sick of the flower forest. Hopefully, there are some chiller folks elsewhere. On day 3, I went to the frozen peaks, knowing I'd probably be safe from the skeletons there. I'm freezing out here, so imagine how cold a skeleton would be. They don't even have any skin. But I wasn't just cold, I was also hungry. Because it was so cold out there, I wouldn't be able to find any yummy bananas. Instead, I was able to find some yummy winter-kissed carrots. Snow and carrots. Such a classic combination. Who doesn't enjoy eating that? Having had my fill of the carrots, I carried on exploring the frozen peaks, hoping that I could find something that would help warm me up. But instead of finding a nice warm coat or a crackling fire, I instead found a huge creature, the towering High Reaver. Oh no, are you going to attack me too?
Why would I attack you, monkey? Are you going to attack me?
No?
Then we have nothing to worry about. I am the mighty High Reaver, and these are my frozen peaks.
Oh, that's great. Do you know where I can find somewhere warm? I'm kind of freezing out here.
Yes, I believe I could take you somewhere nice and warm, but you'll need to do me some favors in exchange. Follow me, Zozo.
It was only as I followed him away that I started to wonder if I ever told him my name. From day 4 to day 5, the High Reaver took me to his base up in the frozen peaks, which was warmed by a huge roaring fireplace.
My apologies for the mess. If I knew I'd be entertaining guests, I would have cleaned up a little.
Please, no need to apologize. This place is amazing. How did you build something like this? It's huge.
It wasn't always me. Once I had workers, so many of them, and they loved working for me. I kept them all warm and happy and safe in here, until one day...
One day? What happened?
Well, some terrible, terrible people banded together and attacked my base. All my workers were either destroyed or chased away, and I was left all alone.
Oh no, that's horrible.
And that's not even the worst part. The ones who did this are still out there, walking free after they destroyed my life.
I can't let something like that stand. I'll help you get revenge on all the people who did this to you, High Reaver.
That's very kind of you, Zozo. In exchange, I will bestow upon you power and tools.
Suddenly, the High Reaver transferred some of his power to me. It was amazing. I got bigger, stronger. I now had 20 hearts in total, and a new power, the Claw Attack. After that, the High Reaver gave me a stone sword and a stone pickaxe. Thank you, High Reaver. I'm gonna go build my base somewhere a little warmer, but then I'll begin my quest for you. I went to the glowing ancient forest, where I felt more confident in my elemental powers, and started mining stone and collecting wood from trees. It didn't take me long to start building a basic base where I could at least sleep at night. After it was done, I stood back and took it all in, finally appreciating that I could have a place of my own. But my appreciation was interrupted by one of the skeletons from earlier suddenly emerging, his bow at the ready.
There you are. I knew you couldn't be trusted. I'm not giving you a second chance this time.
But before he could shoot me, I blasted him with an ice blast and then ran in, finishing him off with my claws. Nobody is pushing this elemental monkey around anymore. From day 6 to day 8, I was hanging around at my base for a while, psyching myself up for my next meeting with the High Reaver. I was excited to go on the mission, but I'd only ever fought a skeleton before, so I didn't know if I was ready. Am I gonna be strong enough to take on the people who kidnapped or destroyed all of the High Reaver's beloved workers? While I was thinking it over, I saw a familiar face, the wandering trader, walking through the glowing ancient forest. I immediately ran over to see how he was doing.
Zozo, my boy, such a delight to see you in such troubling times. I hope all of your own ventures and enterprises are going well. Business marches on.
I told you before, trader, I'm not a business guy. But what do you mean, troubling times?
Oh, you see, I travel all the way across the overworld, trading this and that, doing business and such. But lately, well, something is wrong. Missing people, destroyed villages. It's like there's a plague across the land.
There's no way this is a coincidence. It must be the same people the High Reaver told me about. I need to look into this further. I left at once, and later that day, I arrived at the High Reaver's base and told him I was ready to take on my first mission.
It's good to see that you're eager, Zozo. You'll be doing me and the world a great service. First, you must go further into the frozen peaks and annihilate the Onion Queen. I still remember all the terrible things she did. Destroy her, and we will go from there.
Yes, High Reaver, I'll do it at once. From day 9 to day 10, I made my way to the frozen peaks, climbing higher and higher as I went to take on the Onion Queen, my first big enemy. I wasn't quite sure what horrible things she'd done. The High Reaver hadn't gone into much detail about it, but maybe that was because her crimes were too terrible to even talk about. Soon after, we met face to face.
Halt! Who dares approach her regal onionness?
The Onion Queen, we meet at last.
Let me guess, a lackey for the High Reaver. Of course, how predictable.
Yeah, I'm here to take you down.
You'd be wise to reconsider your next actions. There are more layers than you could possibly understand. Otherwise, this will all end in tears.
Let's see, shall we? I leapt into the battle, using my elemental monkey ice blast and claw attacks, along with my stone sword. But I couldn't cut through all the Onion Queen's protective layers. I wasn't tough enough yet. All I could do was flee. Suddenly, someone else came speeding in. He was some kind of sorcerer who could wield powerful rock attacks. I watched in awe as he was able to defeat the Onion Queen.
I'm glad I found you, elemental monkey.
Hey, I'm Zozo. Who are you?
I am the last of the noble geomancers, masters of the elements of Earth. Time is short. We must get you to safety and train you to harness all the elements.
Hold on, I'm not so sure about this. I think I should go and speak to the High Reaver first.
Your path is your own, Zozo. Seek me out if you find yourself lost.
From day 11 to day 12, I made my way back to the High Reaver's base. Things were just getting stranger and stranger. I wasn't sure who to side with. The High Reaver seemed like he was just a guy in need of help. But what had that old geomancer wanted to train me for?
You've done well, Zozo. With the Onion Queen no longer stinking up the place, our plans can move forward. I need you to complete another task for me.
The High Reaver sent me off to a deep cave nearby to mine for some useful resources that I could craft iron armor with. After all, I might need the added protection on my quest. There wasn't much in the way of enemies down there, but I came across some iron ore and was able to use a furnace to make iron ingots. With these ingots, I made a few iron armor pieces, as well as an iron sword and an iron pickaxe. But then, just as I was leaving the cave and venturing off, I was ambushed by some icy creepers. I tried using my ice blast on them, but quickly realized they could withstand the freezing cold. So instead, I had to resort to using my sword to shatter each of them before heading off to my next objective from the High Reaver. From day 13 to day 15, I traveled to the ancient glowing forest in search of another of the High Reaver's enemies. He'd told me to seek out an Alpha's hyena, but wouldn't really explain why he needed me to take care of it. I assumed, like I had done with the Onion Queen, that this hyena had wronged the High Reaver in some way, perhaps being responsible for him losing all of his workers. But the High Reaver seemed oddly evasive about the specific details. When I spotted the Alpha hyena, I'd been expecting to come across a wild, ferocious beast. But instead, it was just an ordinary animal taking care of its pack. This didn't make any sense. Why would the High Reaver want me to destroy innocent animals? The Alpha hyena wasn't hurting anyone. In fact, it was just gathering food and providing for its hyena pups, taking care of its family. I couldn't go through with it. I had to get a straight answer. So instead of attacking the Alpha hyena, minding its own business, I decided I'd return to the High Reaver to get my answers. From day 16 to day 19, I marched back to the High Reaver's base, full of purpose and determined to get an honest answer out of him.
That was fast. Did you take care of the Alpha hyena?
No, I came back for the truth. What really happened to your workers? And why are you sending me out to defeat all of these mobs? What's really going on here?
Zozo, I have already told you all you need to know. I suggest you go and cool off somewhere, little elemental monkey.
Unsatisfied with that response, I headed back to my base, deep within the ancient glowing forest. When I got there, my pal, the wandering trader, was there waiting for me.
Oh, thank goodness, Zozo, you're here. I need your help.
Why? What's going on?
It's the High Reaver. He was the one behind the plague across the land. Someone must have angered him. He's attacking a nearby village as we speak. It's just terrible for business.
The High Reaver had really been evil this whole time. He tricked me into doing his dirty work. Full of rage, I rushed to try and stop him, and sure enough, came across him ransacking some of the ancient glowing forest.
We could have worked together, Zozo. I would have trained you. A powerful elemental monkey with control over all the natural elements could have been perfect for reshaping the land in my image. But if you won't follow me, then I'll just have to tear everything down and rebuild from scratch.
I leapt in to try and fight the High Reaver, but he was much stronger than I could have anticipated. In my anger, I lost my concentration. He hit me with a powerful energy blast that sent me flying, and I hit my head so hard that I fell unconscious. From day 20 to day 22, I finally came back around. By the time I woke up, the High Reaver was gone, and the area within the ancient glowing forest had been destroyed. I swore I'd stop the High Reaver somehow. Nobody was ever going to trick this elemental monkey again.
Excuse me, I saw you trying to fight off that brute, the High Reaver. You made a valiant effort. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the Mandragora Prince, and I believe I was who the High Reaver was after. That's why he attacked this place.
Oh, how come?
Well, you see, he's on a rampage, trying to remove anyone that might be a threat to his power. The Onion Queen is already gone, although she really was the worst. But now, I fear I may be next.
Okay, Prince, you better follow me. I'll give you a place to stay for now, hopefully where the Reaver won't find you. We made our way back to my base, and I went out to chop down some trees, gathering wood to make wooden panels so I could build the Mandragora Prince his own room. It helped to take my mind off of things for a little while. From day 23 to day 26, I decided to retrace my steps back to the Flower Forest to see if I could uncover any more information about the High Reaver or what I could do as an elemental monkey in order to stop him. But it was while I was there, I once again encountered a familiar face.
Get away! I said get away! You can't attack me! Think of all my business ventures! My portfolio would be ruined if I'm destroyed by… ew, mushrooms!
It was the wandering trader! He was under attack, with some nearby fungus throwers hurling poisonous spores at him. The wandering trader ran for it, and I rushed in and tore one of the fungus throwers up with my claw attack, freezing the other with an ice blast. When the coast was clear, the trader re-emerged.
Zozo, many thanks again. If you keep saving me like this, I might have to put you on retainer.
Well, that's your business, I guess. From day 27 to day 31, while searching for answers around the flower forest, I came across a flock of lost sheep. They looked to me like they'd previously been looked after and cared for, but were now wandering the wild. Of course, they must have lived at one of the villages that the High Reaver destroyed. So I decided I would adopt them and bring them back to my base. I headed back home with the sheep in tow and got to work building a pen for them. I crafted some wooden fencing and arranged it so there'd be plenty of space for the sheep to roam about. They'd be much safer than roaming about unprotected in the wild. Then, the Mandragora Prince approached.
Zozo, while you've been gone, I've been working on a game room for us. Just a little token of my appreciation for you letting me stay here.
Wow, your princeliness. This looks great. You don't need to thank me though. I'm happy to help. Anything that'll make it easier to take down the High Reaver. Speaking of the High Reaver, he was making upgrades and allies of his own up at his base in the Frozen Peaks.
Ah, Vex, my diabolical old friend. You've returned to serve me once again.
Yes, High Reaver. What would you ask of me?
My plans have to accelerate. I thought I could trick that elemental monkey to my side. But now, we must make sure Zozo never reaches his full potential.
From day 32 to day 35, I decided I'd try a new approach, making some more allies of my own. After all, I had already clashed with the High Reaver once in a one-on-one, and it hadn't ended well for me. And before, when I'd been trying to evade the skeletons, I hadn't really listened to their side of things, and the High Reaver had used that to make me think they were the bad guys. That's why I returned to their base in the Flower Forest, but I wasn't given a warm welcome.
Hold it right there, it's you again. You're with the High Reaver. We knew you couldn't be trusted.
Without warning, the skeletons attacked. I had to take cover using my monkey agility to dodge their arrows. I needed to convince them that I didn't mean any harm. No, wait, I'm not with him. I was tricked, but I came back here to make amends. It must have worked because they stopped firing, but kept their bows trained on me.
You better come with us. The shepherd will want to speak with you.
They took me to their leader, a wise old shepherd. Say, did you lose some sheep lately?
My name is more of a metaphor. These skeletons are my flock. You see, Zozo, we were once the workers for a beastly tyrant. He commanded us to build a kingdom for him, and we had no choice but to obey. But he planned on working us to death, so we turned our backs on him before it was too late. In retaliation, he put a curse on those of us that passed, so that their bones may never rest.
He really is the worst, but I intend to stop him.
If what you say is true, then I ask you to prove your fealty. Then I will be able to share more with you.
From day 36 to day 39, after making a rocky start with the skeletons and the shepherd, I ventured off to mine for some more iron ore. I needed to complete my set of iron armor. It looked like my luck was beginning to turn around, because the iron wasn't all I managed to find. Buried deep in the cave were diamonds. Not enough to use just yet, but definitely worth hanging on to. By the time I returned back to the base, there was someone waiting for me that I'd never seen before. He told me that his name was Mason, and he'd been sent as a messenger by the shepherd.
He needs your help, Zozo. The time has come to prove your fealty. If you can act fast, then the shepherd and his skeletons will be at your side.
Before I left to aid the skeletons, I turned iron ore into iron ingots and forged myself a full set of iron armor. Better to be safe than sorry. From day 40 to day 43, I rushed to the location Mason had given me, deep in the heart of the ancient glowing forest. When I arrived, I finally saw the source of all the commotion. Some skeletons were under attack by Vex, the High Reaver's right-hand henchman.
Zozo, we've been trying to fend him off, but we need you.
I don't know if I can. This guy looks tough.
Please, we're counting on your help.
It was me versus Vex, one-on-one. I leapt into the fight and crossed swords with Vex, who seemed to be weirdly happy to see me.
Ah, there's the troublesome little elemental monkey I've heard so much about. The High Reaver will reward me handsomely when I bring you back to him in pieces.
We battled hard. I tried using my elemental powers like the Ice Blast. It had no effect. Vex shrugged it off like it was nothing.
Nice try. I don't really feel the cold.
I went in for a claw attack, but it barely left a scratch. It was becoming clear I wasn't going to win this fight, and if I was defeated or captured, I had no hope of ever stopping the High Reaver. So I decided to retreat, ashamed at my weakness. From day 44 to day 49, I headed back to my base, feeling a little crushed that I hadn't been able to defeat Vex or help the skeletons. It was made even worse by the fact that now the shepherd probably wouldn't want to help me anymore in my fight against the High Reaver. At least, that's what I thought at first, only to see him waiting for me when I arrived back at my base.
I owe you an apology, Zozo. I was wrong to bring you into such an intense battle so early, without all the skills and tools you'd need. But you showed a great deal of restraint out there, and initiative too. A fool would have kept fighting. It takes one wiser to know when it's time to retreat and live to fight another day.
Thanks, although retreating won't do much good against the High Reaver.
Well, I might have just the thing for that. As a show of goodwill, I will help you construct something that should take care of the High Reaver once and for all. The Destroyer. It is a powerful weapon, once capable of undoing even the High Reaver. But there is one condition. We must work together to build it.
Under the shepherd's directions, we made a start, making what we needed to create the Destroyer. It was going to be a special build, and the shepherd didn't have all the directions on hand. So after we had done all we could to get started, he pointed me in the right direction to learn more about how to complete the weapon. From day 50 to day 53, I left for the precarious frozen peaks, making sure I was careful to avoid the High Reaver's territory. If I got too close, no doubt he'd launch another attack on me. I was searching the dangerous peaks for a hidden cave. The shepherd said there was a secluded shrine somewhere up there, which contained a book that could tell me more about the Destroyer. After a whole lot of searching, I found what I was looking for. The book was old and dusty, but it told me everything I needed to know. Long ago, a group of mystics had divided the land into different regions, and each of them had taken control of an individual region. However, they learned that one among them was building an empire on the backs of workers, and he was planning to take control of the entire overworld. He was none other than the High Reaver. When the other mystics learned about this, they crafted a magical weapon called the Destroyer. However, it backfired. They were able to weaken the High Reaver and halt his progress, but in doing so, they destroyed their primary weapon against him. But what I was still wondering was, where did I fit into all of this? What was so important about me being an elemental monkey? Those questions would have to wait. I was getting uneasy being in the frozen peaks for too long, so I made my way back to my base. From day 54 to day 57, I was on my way back to my base when I crossed paths with the last person I wanted to see, Vex! He was on his way back to the High Reaver's base after the fight with all the skeletons, and he instantly leapt at me to attack.
Well, well, well. What do we have here? Come to turn yourself in, little monkey? You're making my job too easy. All I have to do is beat you and walk a few more feet to the High Reaver's stronghold to collect my kudos.
Back off, Vex. I'm not in the mood for you. We crossed swords once again, and I knew that the horrible henchman was trying to irk me and get under my skin. But as much as I wanted to teach him a lesson once and for all, I had to force myself to remember that I wasn't tough enough to beat him. I could hear the shepherd's wise words too. A fool keeps fighting, but a wiser person knows when it's time to retreat. So I fled and lived to fight another day. Meanwhile, the High Reaver had been watching from afar and wasn't too pleased that I had gotten away.
Vex, you buffoon! We need that elemental monkey gone for good. Only his energy can power the Destroyer. He has the potential to harness all the elements, and that makes him the perfect one to wield such a powerful weapon. Do better!
From day 58 to day 62, I was finally able to make it home safely and was greeted warmly by the Mandragora Prince back at my base.
I've really been taking to working on these improvements, Zozo. Come have a look. We have plenty of storage space now if you need a place to stash your weapons and armor.
Sure enough, the prince had whipped up an impressive armory for me, which reminded me my iron armor and iron sword were looking pretty worse for wear, but I still had those diamonds on me. So I headed back to the caves to do some more mining and search for more. After a while spent looking, I hit the mother lode. There were tons of diamonds glimmering in the cave walls, and I quickly pickled them free. Bringing them back to my base, I crafted a shiny new diamond chestplate along with a matching sword and pickaxe. These would be perfect for some added defense as well as extra damage while I was fighting, and the pick would make mining a breeze. From day 63 to day 66, the Mandragora Prince suggested I should try searching for the leftover pieces of the original Destroyer to save building it from scratch.
I know exactly the place you could start looking, and with your diamond pickaxe, you should be able to get there with ease.
Following his directions took me to the magma waste, a deadly area filled with dangerous pools of lava. I had to watch my step and make sure I didn't slip and fall to my doom. I couldn't use my ice blast to freeze a safe path. The magma was too hot. But lucky for me, my elemental monkey agility did the trick. With enough searching, I came across an old stone structure that looked like it had been there for a long time. It was too thick for even my diamond pickaxe to get through, but there was a small slot that looked like it had been made for a key. That was a nuisance. I'd have to either finish the destroyer using the book, or come back if I ever found the right key. From day 67 to day 70, the shepherd returned to my base, and I was expecting we'd soon be getting back to work on building the destroyer. But it turned out there was trouble afoot, and the shepherd needed my help to resolve it. I followed the shepherd to where the trouble was occurring, a clearing within the ancient glowing forest where a mighty hellhound was waiting. I'd never seen a beast like it. What could I possibly do against that?
Try to connect with it, Zozo. You are the elemental monkey. You are more attuned with nature than the rest of us. Use that to speak to this creature.
So I left the shepherd to do just that. Nice, hellhound. Maybe stop attacking skeletons? I get you're probably after a bone, right? Well then, heal, boy. The hellhound growled and bounced at me, and I had no choice but to fight back in self-defense. I tried my best not to cause too much harm to the creature. After all, it wasn't working for the High Reaver. It was just an animal living its life, like the alpha hyena I'd seen before. Eventually, after a lot of struggle, I managed to get the hellhound to back down. That's better. Now come and join us. I promise I mean you no harm, but a hellhound like you could help us stop the High Reaver. Oh, sorry, good doggy? That seemed to work. From day 71 to day 74, I returned to my base with the hellhound in tow. But when I arrived, we were ambushed. It was Vex. He'd been following me ever since I'd clashed with him at the Frosty Peaks.
So this is where you've been hiding, Zozo. Why don't you come quietly, or I'll burn your base to ash.
We clashed once more. My new diamond sword was definitely leaving more damage against Vex this time around, but I still wasn't strong enough to beat him.
It's too late, Zozo. We already kidnapped the Mandragora Prince. You can't help anyone.
With that, Vex rushed off. I rushed inside, but it was too late. They'd gone. I was devastated. The prince had been a helpful friend. We needed to work on improving the base, so I set about building a perimeter wall to defend against any further attacks. After all, Vex and the High Reaver now knew where we were. There was no telling if they'd come back. From his base, the High Reaver was thrilled. With the Mandragora Prince captured, there were no other rulers in the area to challenge his ascent to power. His plan to take over was once again coming to fruition. From day 75 to day 78, the shepherd came by the base. Word had reached him and the skeletons that the prince was captured by the Vex. And so he showed up to help with the base, finishing up the extra defenses.
Vex and the High Reaver have a rather strange connection to each other. Vex has been the underling of the High Reaver for as long as anyone can remember. But he has his own ulterior motive too. He's playing the long game, waiting for his master to take control of everything so that he can steal that power right from underneath the High Reaver. Vex wants to overthrow him after all the hard work is done.
Maybe I can turn them against each other somehow. Along with that useful information, the shepherd also offered me a fancy new weapon, a firework crossbow. This was sure to be a blast to use. With that in my arsenal, I headed off to track down Vex and get the Mandragora Prince back to safety. From day 79 to day 84, I followed the tracks left behind by Vex and came across him not long after. He still had the prince held hostage, and there was no time to waste. I had to save my friend and stop the High Reaver's henchmen once and for all.
So coming along to join us, Zozo. You and the prince here can be taken before the High Reaver together.
How long do you think it'll take your boss to realize you want to overthrow him?
Oh, you've done it now. I'll make sure he never finds out when I silence you, little monkey!
I opened fire with my firework crossbow, blinding Vex to start as I rushed in with my diamond sword. But he quickly regained the upper hand, and even with the help of my special attacks and new weapon, I couldn't beat him. I ran away from Vex, instead meeting up with the imprisoned Mandragora Prince.
Zozo, here, I lifted this from Vex's pocket when he captured me.
The Mandragora Prince threw something towards me, a golden apple.
You're an elemental monkey. You're meant to be one with nature. Maybe this magic apple can help you.
I rushed and grabbed the apple. Eating it, I could feel myself getting stronger. It was like my connection to nature had been strengthened more than ever before. Vex started to back away. I now had 60 hearts, and I had unlocked a new ability, a powerful whirlwind attack. I had been connected to the element of air. I left the prince and ran back to battle the Vex one last time.
No!
With a huge gust of wind, I was able to finally defeat Vex. He fell from the frozen peaks until we could no longer see him, leaving the Mandragora Prince and I free to return to the safety of my base. From day 85 to day 89, the prince and I returned to the base, and he imparted some new information to me.
You see, we Mandragora aren't just rival rulers to the High Reaver. He's also afraid of me because I am the last descendant of the Mystics who weakened him and caused his workers to turn against him. And he wasn't the only one to survive. This key has been in my family for many years. It will unlock the tomb of the last Mystic, and in there, you'll find what you need to finish the Destroyer.
With the magic key from the prince, I headed off to the dangerous magma waste to retrieve the components from the original Destroyer. I followed his directions and came across the tomb of the last fallen mystic, using the magic key to open it up and get inside. However, there was a security measure in place, just in case the High Reaver got his hands on the key. It was a ferocious Ravager guarding the tomb. I drew my diamond sword and hit the Ravager with a blast from my whirlwind attack, knocking it over. I leapt into battle, swinging my sword, and even getting a few scratches of my claw attacks in there for good measure. The Ravager was tough, but I took it down, and I was able to claim the component I needed to complete the Destroyer. From day 90 to day 94, I was making my way back across the precarious magma waste when a familiar foe approached me. It was the High Reaver!
Ah, there you are, my former friend.
We aren't friends. You tricked me, Reaver. I know all about who you are now, and the horrible things you've done.
What about you, Zozo? You did follow my orders for a time, didn't you? Without you, the Onion Queen would still be alive. So would poor Vex. It isn't too late to redeem yourself, though. Come on, join me. I have need for a new henchman, now that you've bested my last one.
I won't make that mistake twice. I clashed swords with the High Reaver. I knew I couldn't beat him on my own, but I just had to get away. If I could just make it back to my base and finish building the Destroyer, I'd finally have a chance at beating him. But the High Reaver must have known what I was trying to do and used one of his energy blasts to send me flying back into the Mystic's tomb. He caused a cave-in, sealing me inside, and dashed off with the piece I needed to finish the Destroyer. I was trapped. From day 95 to day 97, I had to mine my way out of the tomb with my diamond pickaxe. Once I was free, I rushed to warn my allies. Now that the High Reaver had the component of the original Destroyer, he'd no doubt be going after anyone who could help me finish mine from scratch. As I made my way back to the Flower Forest, I was horrified to see the skeleton's hideout in ruins. I found the shepherd amongst the wreckage, and he was on the verge of death. I tried to find something that could heal him, but it was already too late.
Zozo, you have to know your part in all of this. The Destroyer is just a way to channel power, but it's useless without an already powerful being to wield it. You are that being, an elemental monkey. In your hands, your connection to the natural world could be directed through the Destroyer. All the elements combining to defeat the High Reaver. Avenge us, Zozo. Put an end to his tyranny once and for all.
As the shepherd passed on, I swore I'd get revenge and stop the Reaver. On day 98, I rushed back to my base. If the High Reaver had attacked the shepherd to stop me from finishing the Destroyer, then maybe he'd been back to my home to wreck the progress I'd made on it so far. Sure enough, I was met with an awful sight I'd been dreading. My base was in ruins. The Destroyer I'd been working on was wrecked. Even the sheep pen had been smashed to bits. I sat in what was left of my base, feeling defeated. I'd fought so hard, and now it felt like everything I'd gone through had been for nothing. The High Reaver was so strong, he'd put me right back to square one, just like that.
Don't give up, Zozo.
Mandragora Prince, at least someone survived.
You can't let this stop you, Zozo. Don't you see? This carnage is meant to slow you down because you're closer than ever to beating the High Reaver. Destroying your base and attacking your allies is him acting out of desperation. Remember what the shepherd told you?
Live to fight another day. And I'm still alive, which means I can still stop him.
Exactly, and he's made one mistake. He's made it even easier for you to stop him.
Because he has the piece of the destroyer. With my elemental power, it can still be used to stop him. On day 99, I made my way back to the frozen peaks, this time intentionally going to the High Reaver's stronghold. He had no army serving under him. He was just one crazed monster trying to scrabble up power. All I needed to do was get that piece of the destroyer back.
Ah, Zozo, I expect you're not too happy with me.
Yeah, but you're gonna be even less happy when you see what I've got planned.
What? You think you can beat me? You've lost every battle we've ever had. You'd be a fool to keep fighting.
But a wiser person knows when it's time to retreat. We clashed once more, but this time, I wasn't trying to beat the High Reaver one-on-one. I knew I couldn't. Instead, my focus was on one thing, getting back the piece of the destroyer he'd stolen. He was too focused on trying to defeat me that the High Reaver didn't realize what my plan was, until it was too late. I grabbed the component and rushed away, making it back to my base as fast as I could before he could catch up to me. But he wouldn't have to wait too long for me to come back. At my base, with the Mandragora Prince's help, we used the ancient book I'd found and the knowledge he had from his mystic ancestors to focus all of my elemental power into the broken piece of the destroyer. It wasn't going to work the way it was intended, but we had a different plan. Boom! On day 100, our plan had worked. I'd fused with the destroyer and absorbed its power. Now my connection to nature as an elemental monkey was greater than ever. I was so attuned to the elements, I could even restore all the damage done to my base. This would finally allow me to get the upper hand against the High Reaver. Whooshing there with the speed of the wind, I arrived back at the stronghold in the frozen peaks as fast as I'd left. The High Reaver was surprised to see me back so soon, and I used that to my advantage. We fought for the last time. I had all the powers and skills I had learned along the way at my disposal. I used my mighty whirlwind attack to knock the Reaver off his feet, then swiped at him with my diamond sword and my claws. Whenever he'd attack me, I'd move out of the way with that smooth fluidity of water, then turn hard as ice when I needed to return the blows to him.
You combined with the destroyer? No, this is not how this is supposed to go.
It was a long, hard fight, but by remembering all the lessons I'd learned, I was finally able to land a final strike on the evil High Reaver!
No!
With one more hit, he fell from his stronghold at the top of the frosty peaks and plummeted to the ice below. I had done it! I defeated the High Reaver and stopped his plans to rule the overworld. On day 1, I spawned into the Amaranth Fields as a golden gorilla. Now it looks like I'm a gorillionaire. Well, a baby gorillionaire anyway. But I bet with my hard work, I can get bigger, stronger, and even shinier. My golden gorilla voice was a little too loud though, because it attracted the attention of someone who wasn't so nice. A strange green man in a crown emerged.
Wee-hee-hee! 'Tis me, the great and glorious Goblin King! All will bow to my excellence!
Oh, hi, Goblin King. Your Highness, I'm Zozo, the golden gorilla.
No! This simply won't do! You're too shiny! Nobody should be shinier than my crown!
I can't help how shiny I am, Your Highness, and I promise that I didn't mean to offend you.
I don't care what you mean! I'm the Goblin King, and what I want, I get! And you're gonna be a lot less shiny once my fully sick boys have beaten you senseless and buried you beneath the earth!
Suddenly, some ogres emerged and started stomping towards me. All I could do was run for my life and get out of there, but I could still hear the Goblin King's shrill voice behind me.
You can run, but you can't hide! We'll never give up, Zozo! Never!
I kept running until I couldn't hear him anymore. Guess I'm gonna need to topple the Goblin King if I want to get any peace around here. On day 2, I started exploring more of the Amaranth Fields. It's pretty nice out here, but I guess looks can be deceiving if the Goblin King and his ogres are running around here, and I've only got 10 hearts. I'd better find something to eat, and fast! Luckily, I stumbled on an apple tree. I used all of my baby gorilla strength to shake the apples down from the tree and gobbled them up. That really hit the spot. I love apples.
Good choice for your last meal then.
Get it? Because you're dead meat, shiny boy.
I turned around and saw the Goblin King's ogres charging toward me. Uh-oh, I don't think I'm ready for a fight, but I guess I don't have a choice. They attacked me, and I tried my best to fight back, but they were way too tough for me, and there were so many of them. It's only my second day. It can't already be over for me. No!
Hang on, little gorilla. I've got this.
A gobber jumped into the fray, fighting off the ogres long enough for me to get away from them.
Follow me. Let's get you out of here before more of these jokers show up. By the way, my name's Greg.
I'm Zozo. On day 3, I followed the friendly gobber to his campfire. Thank you for saving me.
Don't sweat it, kid. Any enemy of the Goblin King is a friend of mine.
He hates me just because I'm shiny and golden.
Don't take it personally. That attention hog can't stand it if anyone else is special. That's why so many of us are trying to overthrow him. Everyone deserves to shine, not just that so-called king. Here, I got someone you should meet.
The gobber introduced me to a goblo sitting near the fire. I told the goblo that I was the Goblin King's latest target.
Tough luck, Zozo. Sorry to hear that, but you're in the right place if you want to end the Goblin King's regime. We've been working on it for quite some time, and I get the feeling you'll be a great help. You'll need to get a lot stronger first, though. Think you can do that?
Yes, I do.
That's what I like to hear. First things first, you're gonna need a base. Get to work building one. I'll send Greg along to help you out.
Thank you so much.
Don't ever let them dull your shine, Zozo.
From day 4 to day 5, I got to work building a base. Before I can build anything, I'll need some wood and some tools. I gathered enough wood to craft a wooden pickaxe, then used that pickaxe to gather some stone. Now I can use this to make a full set of tools. I'd better hurry up so I can build my base before it gets dark. I crafted a set of stone tools, and then it was finally time to build my base. A room for me and a room for Greg. There, looks pretty good. It's small, but I'll have time to build more later. Greg, come check out our new home.
Sweet digs, kid. I like it. Great place to hang my hat for a little while.
But you're not wearing a hat.
Well, if I get a hat, I'll have a place to hang it. Hey, kid, look out behind you.
I turned around and was jumped by a garch. This time, though, I had a sword to defend myself. I fought back and managed to defeat the nasty creature. Hey, I did it! Oh, I feel kind of funny. Suddenly, I grew bigger, and I felt my hearts increase to 30. Awesome! I yelled with excitement, and a blast of fire came out of my mouth.
Careful with that fire breath, buddy. Don't burn the house down.
Sorry. From day 6 to day 8, I took my new set of tools, improved strength, and super cool fire breath, and went out exploring. I traveled to the jungle, where I spotted a poor, innocent little Kato being attacked by a Shadowneer. Hey, cut that out! The Shadowneer didn't listen, so I had to make him listen with a blast of fire breath. He got pretty angry about being burned, but I had my sword ready to go, and we battled it out. The Shadowneer was tough, but I was tougher, and I managed to win the fight. You're safe now, little Kato.
Thank you. I've never met a hero like you before, but I'm afraid I'm still not safe. I was trying to run away from a bigger, badder monster when that Shadowneer attacked me. See, my house was invaded by a reaver. He kicked me out and said if I tried to come back, he'd kill me. Could you help me get my home back?
That's terrible. Of course I'll help. From day 9 to day 10, I followed the little Kato to his house, and sure enough, there was a huge, scary-looking reaver standing guard outside.
Hey, I told you to clear out of here. Maybe you didn't learn your lesson last time. Do I need to tell you again with more pain?
The only one who's gonna get hurt around here is you!
What? You're here to fight me? Ha! You're tiny, like a little gold statue of a gorilla. You don't scare me.
Well, maybe this will. I opened my mouth and shot a blast of fire breath at the reaver, but he didn't even flinch.
Oh, thanks. I was getting kinda chilly. Now it's my turn.
Uh-oh. He launched himself at me, knocking me back. He was way too strong. I don't think I'm ready for this fight. I'm so sorry, little Kato. We've got to run. But I promise I'll come back and finish the job once I'm strong enough. I ran away as fast as I could, the little Kato right by my side. Until we get your house back, you can come stay at my base with me. From day 11 to day 12, I escorted the little Kato back to my base.
I'll need to build another room so he has somewhere to sleep. I got to work, and before long, I had added on a room for my new guest. Here you go. I hope you're comfortable here.
Thank you so much! I wanted to give you something in return for letting me stay here, but I didn't have anything with me, so I hope you don't mind, but I added something to your base. Come take a look!
He showed me a brand new storage hut.
I figured you could keep things in here. Weapons, I guess, or whatever you want.
It's great! Thank you! Now you get some rest. I've got more work to do.
Wait, before I do, are you the golden gorilla that the Goblin King is trying to get rid of?
I sure am.
Oh, I'm so sick of that Goblin King. He wasn't always in charge, you know. He came here a little while ago with an army of ogres and scared everyone into listening to him. No one even knows where he came from or if he's a real king at all.
No wonder he's so worried about being outshined. Thanks for the info, little Kato.
My name is Lyle, just by the way.
I'm Zozo. Nice to meet you. Lyle went off to take a nap, and I headed into a nearby cavern to do some mining. I gathered some iron ore, perfect for upgrading my gear. I used a furnace to smelt the ore into iron ingots and crafted an iron pickaxe and an iron sword. I still feel like the base is missing something. As I was brainstorming, I spotted a herd of sheep grazing nearby. Hey, sheep! Why don't you come live with me? I built them a sheep farm to live in and herded them inside. Not too bad, if I do say so myself. From day 13 to day 15, I was trying to come up with ideas on how to grow stronger. I decided to talk to Greg and get some advice. Hey Greg, I'm running out of time to get strong enough to defeat the Goblin King. What can I do?
Well, kid, when I want to get stronger, I get out of my comfort zone. Try going somewhere new, maybe fighting some new enemies. You'll never grow just staying in the same place all the time.
Great idea. I'll go back to the jungle. That was a pretty intense place. I traveled back to the jungle and started exploring the unfamiliar terrain. While I was walking, I spotted some familiar faces. The ogres! They were too strong for me before, but I think I'm ready to try again. Hey, remember me?
Hey, look! It's the Golden Gorilla! Let's get 'em, boys!
I opened my mouth and shot fire breath at them, engulfing them in flames.
Ouch! Where'd you learn to do that?
I didn't answer the question. I just drew my iron sword and attacked again. This time, they were the ones who weren't prepared. And one by one, I defeated them all. I did it! I did it! Hey, what's this? There was a health potion on the ground. They must have dropped this. Well, finders keepers. I drank the health potion, and right away, my hearts increased to 60. Woohoo! I was doing a victory dance when I accidentally shot a fireball. Hey, that's new. I'm on fire here. From day 16 to day 19, I followed Greg's advice and kept exploring. My journey took me all the way to the desert. It sure is hot out here. I wish I had a nice shady tree to sit under. Oh, and some coconuts. But instead of coconuts, I found a book. The Book of Information. Information about what? I guess I'll see. It says the Goblin King was once a lonely little goblin underling, the lowest of the low. One day, he had enough of being bossed around. He snuck up on the leader of his kingdom, destroyed him with a sneak attack, and stole his crown. Now, he lives in fear of being seen as the fraud that he is, and having someone take his place. Wow, I'd feel bad for him if he wasn't trying to kill me.
Get that gorilla!
I was suddenly ambushed by more of the Goblin King's ogres. But with my new fireball attack, they didn't stand a chance. I burnt them all to a crisp and vanquished them. Hey, I'm getting pretty good at this whole fighting thing. From day 20 to day 22, I traveled back home to my base. Time to go back into the mines and see if I can upgrade my gear some more. I entered the mine and quickly found some iron ore. After I smelted it into ingots, I was able to craft an iron chest plate. With my new attack, my new strength, and this armor, I think I can finally fight that Reaver. So I traveled back to Lyle's house, where that nasty Reaver was still stomping around like he owned the place.
Back for more. Can't get enough of the taste of defeat.
You can't just take people's houses. I'm going to show you what happens when you do. I hit him with a fireball, and this time it worked. It knocked him back. While he was recovering, I got my sword and rushed at the Reaver, swinging my blade as hard as I could. He attacked me, but I came back at him even harder. A couple of hits later, he was down.
Whee! Well, look at that! You're getting stronger, I see!
It was the Goblin King. He was watching me from behind a nearby tree.
I'll have to send stronger minions to get rid of you, it seems. No matter, I will! Well, I always get what I want, you know.
Only because you sneak up on people. You'll never win in a fair fight.
Well, we'll have to sort out that, won't we? I have grand plans for your demise, Zozo. Such grand plans. Whee!
And with that, he disappeared. From day 23 to day 26, I ran back to my base as fast as I could. My encounter with the Goblin King had shaken me up a little bit, but I was still excited to give Lyle the good news about his house. Lyle! Guess what? The Reaver is finally gone!
Really? That's amazing, but...
Oh no, what is it?
It's just, I've been having so much fun staying here with you guys. Do you think I could keep living here instead?
Sure, stay as long as you want. With that settled, I ventured back into the mines to look for some more iron ore. After I found enough, I smelted it into ingots and crafted a new iron helmet and a pair of shiny iron boots. While I was trying on my new armor, Lyle came to see me.
Hey, Zozo. As a thanks for everything, I built a perimeter wall around the base to help keep us safe. So nothing like the Reaver attack ever happens here.
I went outside and checked it out. That's amazing. I feel safer already. From day 27 to day 31, I headed back out to the desert to continue exploring in the harsh climate. I was kicking around the sand, getting lost in my thoughts, when I saw something. A silver lobo sat under a palm tree.
Hey, you're the gold guy who beat up all those ogres.
I sure am.
Well, that was super neat of you. If you're still in a heroic mood, I could use some help. Any chance you have a place I could stay for a while? The Goblin King doesn't like how silver I am, and I'm scared he'll send more ogres after me.
He's doing the same thing to me for being gold. I'd be happy to help. Follow me back to my base. You can stay there. The silver lobo and I headed back to my base, and when we got there, I'd take a second to shear my sheep and gather some wool. Hey, this gives me an idea. I decided to hang some decorative banners on my base just to spice up the place. These really class up the place.
Sweet banners, kid, but sorry to interrupt. Goblo needs our help.
Who?
Goblo the Goblo. You met him when I saved you. Now it's your turn to help me save him. Quick, let's go.
From day 32 to day 35, Greg and I traveled back to the Goblo's campfire to see what was going on. When we got there, a whole horde of ogres was making a mess of the place. Goblo was way outnumbered. Goblo, we're here to help.
Oh, how sweet. Baby Gorilla thinks he can save his friend. Well, you're too late, loser.
I shot a fireball at them, destroying them in one hit. But when Greg and I rushed over to check on Goblo, he was already halfway gone.
Thank you for coming, boys, but I'm afraid they were too much for me. I don't have a lot of time left, Zozo. You can finish what I couldn't. Defeat the rest of the ogres.
I will. And just like that, Goblo was gone. From day 36 to day 39, I didn't want to go home after losing Goblo. I needed to get my mind off of things. So instead, I traveled to the jungle to look for some bad guys to fight, or someone to help. I just need something useful to do.
Are you talking to me?
There was a rouge tomato suddenly staring at me. No, I was talking to myself.
Well, could you be talking to me? If you're trying to be useful, I need some help.
Sure, what's going on?
Well, I need help taking on a rattlesnake near here. He's really messing up the neighborhood, kicking everybody out. I need some muscle to get him to lay off.
You got it. It didn't take me long to find the rattlesnake. He was hissing and pacing back and forth, looking for trouble. Well, he found it, and trouble was me. I took him out with a few quick fireballs and a finishing move with my sword. Your rattlesnake problem is all taken care of.
Thanks, you're a swell guy. Not like that freak in the crown who came through here earlier.
The Goblin King?
Yeah, that's him. Said he's trying to recruit new goons to help him get rid of some gold monkey or something. Sounds like a bad scene. And seems like the kind of guy who doesn't ever fight his own fights, but still wants to act like a tough guy. If you're not a fighter, just admit it to yourself. That's what I did, and it worked out.
Yup, thanks for the info.
Yeah, forget about it.
From day 40 to day 43, I left the friendly, but kinda weird, rouge tomato behind and walked back to my base. When I got there, Greg was waiting for me, and he looked excited about something.
Hey, kid, I thought we could both use some cheering up. So I added some couches to the base for hanging out. And I was thinking, maybe we could invite some more friends to stay here with us.
Absolutely, the more the merrier.
Great, my other goblin friend should be here soon.
A little while later, Greg's friend arrived and settled in. Nice to meet ya. After a while, the silver lobo I helped out before came to find me.
You've already done so much for me, but could I ask for one more favor? I left my favorite book behind, and I can't go back and get it without being attacked by some really scary monsters. Could you go look for it for me?
I'll do my best to get your book back. We can put it on one of those shelves when I do. From day 44 to day 49, I trudged out to the desert to look for the Silver Lobo's book. I don't see any books, I just see a ton of sand. I don't like sand at all. It's so coarse and rough, and it gets everywhere. As I was digging through the sand looking for the book, the Goblin King ran up from behind me.
Whee! Tremble in fear! It's me!
I'm not scared of you.
Oh, but you should be! You think I'll only stop with your demise? No, silly Zozo! I'm going to get rid of everything shiny in this land! Every living thing that is silver, gold, diamond, that glitters and shimmers brightly! My crown will be the only shiny thing left, and then no one will doubt my authority as king!
Or you could try being a kind and just ruler?
Are you kidding me? That sounds terrible! Sorry, Zozo, but I have to run! Bear with me!
What?
Sorry, I misspoke! I have a bear with me! Enjoy fighting my bear! Bye!
The Goblin King ran off, and a massive, hulking grizzly bear ran in! From day 50 to day 53, I faced off against the Goblin King's mighty grizzly bear. The grizzly bear charged at me. I fought back with a fireball and jumped out of the way before he could scratch me with his claws. But the bear was tough, and he came at me again. This is my hardest fight yet. It was difficult, and the bear was much bigger and stronger than me, but I was better at dodging. And I had fire powers that most bears don't have. And all of that helped me win in the end. Phew, that was a close one. I'm glad I made it. Ooh, sparkly. The grizzly bear dropped a diamond on the ground during the fight. I should take it with me. I bet I'll need it later. From day 54 to day 57, I continued my search for the Silver Lobo's book. She said there were scary monsters involved, but I haven't seen anything but sand. And that bear, but that wasn't normal for this place, I'm pretty sure. Finally, I happened upon a specter. I don't think it's that scary, but I bet that's what she's talking about. Hey, did you take someone's book? The specter didn't answer me. It just started attacking. Well, I guess that's your answer. Fireball! I blasted the specter with a fireball, and I totally vaporized it. Sure enough, it dropped the book. What's this book about, anyway? Seems like a lot of trouble for one little book. Oh, it says my diary on it. No wonder she wanted it back. I ran back to my base and delivered the book to the Silver Lobo.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're the nicest golden gorilla I've ever met. Not that I've met any others. There used to be more of you, I've heard. And other gold creatures. But the Goblin King has been getting rid of them ever since he took the throne. It's just terrible.
Well, I can't let him get away with it anymore. From day 58 to day 62, I expanded my sheep pen to make room for even more sheep. There, now you guys can spread out a bit more and have some room to roam. They didn't say anything back, but I think they were happy about it. Next, I returned to the mines. The diamond the bear dropped got me thinking. I want to craft some diamond gear. I gathered some diamonds and used them, along with the diamond the bear dropped, to craft a diamond pickaxe and a diamond sword. Now I'm even shinier than ever. Take that, Goblin King. When I climbed back out of the mines and went back to my base, Greg was waiting for me.
Welcome back, kid. Since we've got more folks staying with us now, I took the liberty of letting them invite even more friends over. Hopefully you don't mind.
Of course I don't mind. You know what I say, the more the merrier. From day 63 to day 66, I tried to decide where to go next. I need to keep getting stronger so I can stop the Goblin King from carrying out his evil plans. What should I do next?
Zozo, I just got a letter from my friend in the lush tundra. She said that there is some kind of dangerous creature out there making trouble, and it might be working for the Goblin King. If you play your cards right, you could get fighting experience and some information, all at the same time.
Wow, that's like getting two things with only one thing. Awesome! I traveled to the lush tundra, and a huge warped toad leapt into my path. Uh-oh, this must be the creature making trouble. I got my sword ready and was taking a deep breath to unleash some fire on the toad when she spoke.
Wait, no! I'm Alex, Lyle's friend. I'm the one who asked for your help. You're Zozo, right?
Oh, sorry, my mistake. So if you're not the one I'm here to fight, who is? From day 67 to day 70, Alex the warped toad led me to the danger she had told me about. A warped Moscow, hovering menacingly above the ground.
There it is! Think you can help?
I sure do. Time to squash that bug.
Be careful! careful. That's one mean Moscow.
I listened to Alex's warning, and I approached the warped Moscow slowly. But as soon as it saw me, it started buzzing aggressively and swooped at me. I had to dodge and counter with a fireball. The warped Moscow couldn't get away in time, and the fireball hit it, knocking it down. I took my chance to finish it off right then and there. I did it! Your Moscow troubles are over, Alex.
Thank you so much. Lyle wasn't kidding. You really are a hero.
I'm just trying my best. I only hope I'm going to be enough of a hero to take on the Goblin King. From day 71 to day 74, I decided to explore the lush tundra a bit more. I already came all the way out here, I might as well get a good look. As I was exploring, I spotted a sign that spelled out Z-O-Z. I didn't know what that means, but it's almost my name. That reminds me, if you want to see more Zozo videos, you can find them by searching Z-O-Z-O. I arrived in a new part of the lush tundra and saw a chest there. Oh, I wonder what's inside. When I opened it, there was nothing in there. Oh, that's disappointing.
Wee-hee-hee-hee! Sorry to see you so sad, Zozo! Just kidding! I love to see you sad! Hee-hee-hee! You'll never beat me!
I was so angry, I shot a fireball at the Goblin King, but he dodged it and attacked me. He was still way too strong for me to fight him and win. Just you wait, I'll get stronger, and then you'll know how it feels to lose. I didn't want to, but I had to get out of there. From day 75 to day 78, I ran all the way back to my base. When I finally got there, I was so mad that I locked myself in my room. I can't believe I had to run away like that. I'm such a loser. I heard someone outside of my room, and when I went to check, the Silver Loba was standing there.
Sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to show you something. I've been heading on to the base. Want to come look?
Okay. I followed her, and she led me to a new watchtower. You built this for me?
I wanted to cheer you up. It'll help keep us all a lot safer, in case the Goblin King tries anything sneaky.
That's so great. Thank you. I feel better already.
I've also got something that might help, too.
Greg came over and handed me a novelty hat.
It's silly, but I told you a home is a good place to hang your hat. So, I got you a hat.
When I put the hat on, I felt a lot better and stronger too. Before I knew it, my hearts increased to 100. I jumped for joy, and I jumped way higher than usual. Whoa, a jump boost! Thank you so much! From day 79 to day 84, I ventured back out into the lush tundra to look for the Goblin King. Now that I'm stronger, I want to try and fight him again. I looked all over, but didn't see him anywhere. I did see some Black Death though. Close enough for now. Still an evil force I can test out my new strength on. I fought the Black Death and beat it easily. When I did, I was approached by a grateful rat.
Oh, that was very impressive fighting. I couldn't help but notice your shiny diamond sword. Someone dropped this, and I picked it up to keep. But I think you should have it. Here!
The rat gave me diamond leggings. This is perfect. From day 85 to day 89, I took my new diamond leggings and traveled back home to my base. When I got there, I was shocked to see Ogre stamping all over the place, tearing it down. No, get out of here!
Oh no! Did you think we wouldn't find you? Smash, 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 smash the whole place to bits!
I shot a fireball at the ogres, and they ran off into the fields. Ah, no you don't. I chased after them as fast as I could. As I was pursuing the ogres, a rat jumped in front of me.
Quickly, could you tell me the way to the lush tundra? My cousin lives there.
I pointed him in the right direction.
Thanks, you're a pal.
With another good deed done, I continued my chase. From day 90 to day 94, I tracked the ogres all the way to a castle. This must be Goblin King's palace. I'd better not get too close. I'm sure he's got guards all over the place. I'll focus on these jokers for now. I decided to shoot a fireball at the guard at the castle entrance. That's what you get for messing with my home.
Ouch! Get a boss!
Is the Goblin King here?
No, he won't dirty his hands fighting you, little gorilla. That's my job.
A plague beast emerged and came running at me. He attacked me before I could do anything, and the blow knocked me back. Uh-oh, this guy is really strong. This won't be easy. From day 95 to day 97, I continued my battle against the plague beast. It was, by far, my most dangerous fight yet. I've got to make it through this. I can't let the Goblin King win.
He's already won, fool! There are only a handful of days left before his army will sweep the land, imprisoning any that dare to try to outshine the king!
No! I won't let that happen! I used my jump boost to jump out of the way of his next attack and blasted him with a fireball. Then I came at him with my diamond sword and finally turned the tide of the fight. I was going to win! For my final attack, I jumped high and hit him where he least expected it.
It seems I underestimated you. Perhaps you will win after all, if you can best the Goblin King himself in a one-on-one fight, that is.
I will, no matter what. I'm going to do whatever it takes to defeat the Goblin King once and for all. And just like that, the Plague Beast was defeated. On day 98, I returned to my base with a renewed sense of purpose. This golden gorilla is going to win! I just know it. I've come a long way, and I know I still have room to improve, but I feel like a real hero now. Brighter, stronger, and shinier than ever. First, the Silver Lobo spoke to me.
You are Zozo. Here, take this health potion for help on your quest. I believe in you. We all deserve to shine, and you shine brighter than anyone I've ever met.
That means a lot. Thank you. And then, Greg.
Hey kid, I'm proud of you. Don't leave without your hat, okay?
I would never. And finally, Lyle.
Remember, the Goblin King only wins fights by sneaking up on people. Don't let him sneak up on you, and you'll be able to defeat him.
Thank you for believing in me. I'll try my best. On day 99, I set off on my journey to the Goblin King's castle. I passed through the lush tundra on my way and remembered my success there. I was able to help so many people, and if I can pull this off, it'll help so many more. Finally, I reached the castle. It was crawling with ogre guards. I'll never get through all of them without the Goblin King finding out I'm here. If he does, he'll be able to sneak up on me. As I was trying to come up with a plan, Alex, the warped toad, jumped out of hiding and started attacking the ogres. Alex, you came to help me.
We toads believe in reciprocity. You helped me, I help you. Now get inside and finish this.
Alex led the ogres away, and I began to sneak into the castle. On day 100, I crept my way into the castle. That's where I saw the Goblin King looking at horses. I thought about attacking him, but I realized that would be wrong. I'm not like him. I want a fair fight. Hey, stop horsing around.
What? What's happening? Oh, wee! Zozo, I see. You've come to my palace to turn yourself in?
No, I'm here to fight you. Fair and square. No tricks.
A Goblin King always has a few tricks up his sleeve.
Suddenly, he turned invisible, and I lost sight of him. Uh-oh, he's somewhere in here, trying to sneak up on me. I listened carefully, and when I heard him moving, I used my jump boost to jump out of the way of his ambush. Ha! Gotcha! I spotted him and launched a fireball at him. It hit!
Ow, ow, ow! No! You're not supposed to be so good at this! I'm supposed to win! I always win!
Not anymore! I attacked with my sword next. He fought back, but I was stronger than him. I had learned how to defeat the forces of evil, and after a difficult fight, I finally did. The Goblin King crown fell on the floor at my feet. If I were like you, I'd take this, but I don't want to be king. I just want to go home and hang out with my friends. I'm ending this reign of terror, here and now. And with one last fireball, I finished him off. It was finally over! I did it! Time to go home, hug my friends, and take a well-deserved nap. From now on, things are gonna be good as gold. On day 1, I spawned into the Amaranth Field as a blinged-out diamond monkey. Ooh, I'm so shiny, even if I am a little baby monkey. I hopped around and started exploring the fields. It was so cool and colorful. It seemed like this was going to be a really fun adventure. Until a huge, terrifying creeper spider broodmother started crawling towards me. I'd never seen anything like it. Oh my goodness, you're certainly interesting.
I don't think you're being sincere. You don't think I'm interesting at all, do you? You actually think I'm strange and frightening.
What? No, you're putting words in my mouth.
Well, unlucky for you, I am strange and frightening. And so are my many children.
You have children?
Yes, so many. And within 100 days, we will rule the world, and every other creature will be destroyed.
Starting with you glittering little monkey.
Creeper Spider Broodmother fired a powerful exploding fireball at me that blew up the ground near my feet. I was nowhere near powerful enough to fight back. All I could do was run away as fast as I could. That Broodmother didn't seem nice. I don't want it and it's young to rule over the world, so I better find a way to stop it before it gets out of hand. On day 2, I began to explore more of the Amaranth Fields, taking in the sights and trying my best to learn my way around this interesting, beautiful biome. Hopefully, without running into any more trouble from the Broodmother Creepy Spider or her creepy crawly kids. While I was roaming around, I checked and noticed I had 10 hearts. Not tons of health, so I'd have to be careful not to take too much damage. Lucky for me, I found some apples growing on a tree, out of reach for ordinary chumps walking around on 2 legs. But with my diamond monkey agility, I was able to climb up into the branches and grab that sweet fruit. Suddenly, while I was enjoying my apples up in the tree, I heard a telltale hissing coming from below. I peered out and was met with the sight of a creeper down below.
There you are. The Broodmother said there was a lost little diamond monkey out here all alone.
Go away, I don't want any trouble.
Then you never should have wandered up that tree. You're in the perfect spot for some exploding.
The creeper started getting ready to blow. I looked around, trying desperately to find an escape route, but there was no tree close enough for me to jump to. I tried to distance myself from the impending blast and braced myself for the loud boom, when all of a sudden, nothing happened. I looked back down, and someone had attacked the creeper, stopping it exploding at the last minute. A phantom fox.
You, come with me quickly. More will be on the way, so we have to get out of here.
Say no more. On day 3, the phantom fox led me through the Amaranth Fields after saving me. We walked quite a distance from where the creeper had found me before finally arriving at a campfire in a clearing.
We'll be safe here. Perhaps now we can be acquainted. I am Philo of the Phantom Fox clan.
Nice to meet you. My name's Zozo.
It's been a while since the Amaranth Fields have played host to a diamond creature. This can only be a good omen though. We will need all the help we can get to defeat the Broodmother.
Oh yeah, I had a run-in with her. Not a fan, I'll tell you that much. Philo and I were soon joined by another, a wise old wind serpent. He explained more about what was going on.
The creatures of the Amaranth Fields used to live in perfect harmony, but the Broodmother sought to disrupt all of that and use her spiderlings to control the entire world. We must unite and stop her.
Well, I'm no parenting expert, but I don't think she should be making her kids take over the world with her. I'll do what I can.
Then welcome to our resistance, Zozo. You are one of us. Philo will guide you. There is much to be done.
From day 4 to day 5, Philo and I went off together to search for an ideal location to set up shop. We'd need a base, a place to call home, if we were going to reunite the creatures of the fields and put a stop to the Broodmother's schemes. So I knocked down some trees and gathered up some wood. I had enough to craft a wooden pickaxe, and then we went off looking for something stronger, stone. Before long, I had gathered up enough stone to make a full set of stone tools. There was even enough left over to make a snazzy stone sword. Now, I could defend myself if any more mean mobs showed up. Turned out, that was just about to happen. It was while I was building the first few rooms of our base that an icy creeper snuck up on me. It must have just come across us by chance, but it startled me. I panicked and wildly swung my sword, taking the icy creeper down, but looking a little clumsy when I did. Afterwards, Philo came over to talk.
Not exactly elegant, are you? Here, if you're going to swing that thing around, let me show you the proper technique.
That would be amazing. But first, I'm hungry. Do you have anything I could eat?
Oh, fine. Here are some apples. Now, follow me.
Philo imparted some Phantom Fox wisdom to me and taught me how to fight. I could feel myself getting stronger. I now had 30 whole hearts. Philo even taught me a brand new power too, a freezing ice blast. Ice powers. It makes sense, seeing as I'm so iced out. From day 6 to day 8, Philo sent me off to the Cherry Blossom Forest to gather resources. We needed some wood for the roof of our base, and there were far more trees here than the Amaranth Fields. Plus, he said I'd need to learn my way around the world if I was going to help the other creatures stop the Broodmother. But while I was on my travels, chopping down trees and minding my own business, I noticed someone in a spot of trouble nearby. A stranger looked like they were being attacked by a basalt snake.
Away with you, beast! Unless you want me to rock the house down!
The stranger must have been a geomancer. Who else would make such an awkward rock pun? As he ran away, I drew my stone sword and decided to help out. This was it, my first taste of combat. I attacked the basalt snake. It was a slippery enemy, dodging out of the path of my swings and then lunging towards me when it found an opening. I was barely able to leap out of the way in time, saved at the last second by my monkey agility. At last, I saw an opening and took my chance, landing the winning strike.
Not bad carrying there, lad. You're clearly not one of the Broodmother's lackeys. Tell you what, you fancy giving me a hand, taking care of some of that creepy spider's creepy spawn?
Sounds good to me. That ought to slow her down. From day 9 to day 10, I went with the Geomancer deeper into the cherry blossom forest, looking for a nest where some of the creeper spider broodmother's children were hiding, waiting for the command to take over. We were trying to sneak up undetected, but suddenly we were ambushed by one of the creeper spiderlings. It was way smaller than the broodmother, but it was still creepy.
Mama said you can't be here. I'm gonna tell on you.
I fought as hard as I could, but the creeper spiderling was far too tough. Every time I tried to corner it, it would scuttle out of reach. I had no choice but to retreat. I was a little disheartened. If I couldn't take on one of the broodmother's offspring, what chance did I stand against her?
Don't be so hard on yourself, lad. Life, as I've experienced, it's a rocky road. Don't you give up now.
Gee, thanks. You need a place to stay? Come back to my base. From day 11 to day 12, the Geomancer and I made our way back to the base in the Amaranth Fields. Straight away, I got to making a storage room with plenty of space for all the resources I gathered. I then went on to work on the Geomancer's room. I added a floor to my base, which gave him plenty of space to practice rocking out if he needed to.
Well, this is all just too kind, Zozo. I've got no coin, nor any token to give you as thanks, lad. But here, let me use my powers to really rock this joint.
The Geomancer really was stone cold brilliant. He built an entire smelting place outside and a new storage room just to say thanks for letting him stay. This was amazing. It really helped improve the base. Thanks to him, things were really coming along. We even got to talking about the broodmother and why she was so set on taking over the world.
I've been studying the fauna of this place for quite some time. It really is fascinating. All the creatures here are bestowed with great power. The broodmother has the power of dominance, the will to take control of everything. But what's interesting is there is a creature made to be the embodiment of good and selflessness. A diamond monkey.
Wow, so you're saying I might be able to defeat her?
Zozo, lad, I'd say you've got a better chance than anyone.
Later, I paid a visit to a nearby mine and dug up some iron ore. Now I could put that brand new furnace to good use. I turned the ore into some iron ingots, then smelted those with iron replacements for my sword and pickaxe. While I was gone, the Geomancer placed down some fences to make a sheep pen. I lured some sheep in to make a farm. From day 13 to day 15, I spoke to Philo about what I could do to get stronger. He suggested that I should head off on a small journey to do some hands-on training. You're sure about this?
Of course. You're a diamond monkey, and that means you're the living embodiment of all good. And being good means banishing evil, so go do some banishing.
I headed back to the Cherry Blossom Forest, although I wasn't exactly sure how I was meant to banish evil. That seemed like more of an ongoing life goal than a simple training exercise. I didn't get too much time to think about it though, before I was confronted by another angry creeper. Hey, my twin brother was sent to catch a diamond monkey like you for our master, the broodmother, and he never made it back. Yeah, my Phantom Fox friend sort of destroyed him. He did what? Oh, you're so gonna pay. The creeper came at me. I leaped back to a safe distance in case it exploded. I used my diamond monkey reflexes to stay out of range of the creeper's explosive radius, then hopped in close when it was safe to deal some damage with my iron sword. Finally, I was able to finish him off. But that wasn't all. The defeated creeper dropped a health potion, which gave me a whole 60 hearts when I drank it. The whole encounter had given me the experience to teach myself a brand new move too, the knockback punch. From day 16 to day 19, I ventured out further and came across the deep canyons stretching as far as the eye could see. I had to be careful traveling the higher ground. One wrong step, and I'd have a really nasty fall. But it was while traversing my way down to the lower depths of the canyons that I happened to stumble across something pretty unexpected. It was an old journal that somebody must have dropped. I picked it up and took a look, reading some of what was written inside. It started happening much sooner than we thought. The bad needs good to counter it. It can grow and grow. That's why the brood mother is getting stronger. We need balance, otherwise her evil power will grow until it cannot be contained. It will sweep across the world under the many legs of her and her spawn, unless we can find someone who as good as she is bad. Suddenly, while I was reading, I heard a familiar hissing drawing near and turned to see a group of creepers behind me. There he is, boys! That's the diamond monkey who took out Jim! Oh, and that the brood mother wants us to destroy too, I guess. Jim was old school, one of the good ones, man. Jim? That other creeper? Yeah, our twin! Why are so many of you twins? Well, that's a funny story, actually. You see, all creepers get 'em, boys! The creepers attacked, but I was feeling confident. After all, I'd only just taken down one of them and gotten stronger as a result. So swinging my sword the way Philo had taught me, I made quick work of dispatching this new group of creepers. From day 20 to day 22, I made the long journey back to the Amaranth Fields. I hadn't returned to base in a few days, so I thought it was about time for a rest and a resupply. Once I was back at my base, I headed back to the mines, gathering up some more iron ore from a vein deep underground. That ore I then turned into iron ingots, which I used then to create a brand new iron chestplate. With all these new hearts, new powerful attacks, and now some added protection against damage, I was feeling ready to go back and face the creeper spiderling from earlier. I crept through the cherry blossom forest, making sure to keep to the treetops and using my diamond monkey agility to my advantage. I came across the spiderling, and when I was ready, leapt down from the treetops to attack. My ambush worked, catching the creeper spiderling off guard. Startled, it panicked, and I was able to use my knockback attack to blast it off its feet. Then, using my iron sword, I finished it off. I had beaten the spiderling! But all the commotion had attracted some unwanted attention from someone I didn't realize was nearby, the brood mother!
You think that's all it'll take to stop me? Destroy my spiderlings! I don't even care! Even if you're able to kill just one, there will be two more ready to take its place.
Look, you're only this powerful because there was no one good enough to cancel out your bad. But I'm around now, and a diamond monkey is the embodiment of goodness. So why don't we call this a stalemate? You and your creepy kids can call off this world domination plan. Just leave everyone alone, and we'll leave you alone.
Oh, but I'm not interested in there being balance. I don't need there to be good. Once my children and I have covered the world, then all that exists, all that is good or bad will be for me to decide. And you won't be around to stop me!
The brood mother launched one of her explosive fireballs at me. I thought about fighting back, but instead, I snuck off once she'd lost sight of me. I wasn't strong enough yet, and I could hear the geomancer's lesson in my head. Gotta remember, it's a rocky road. Could really go for some ice cream right about now. From day 23 to day 26, I made my way back to my base. Even though it had taken me a while to get back to it, I had taken down the spiderling that the geomancer had asked me to help defeat. I thought he'd want to hear the good news.
That's my boy! I'm proud of you, lad!
Since my chestplate had come in handy protecting me against the spiderling, I decided I needed to complete my set of armor. So I headed back to the mines, gathering up some iron ore from the vein. Once it had been made into ingots, and those had been smelted, I had a snazzy pair of iron boots, pants, and a helmet to match my chestplate. I even had enough iron left over to make the rest of the iron tools.
Ah, Zozo! I see you've learned the value of a good defense. You could say I had the same idea. Ta-da!
The geomancer had been back at it again, making upgrades to my base. This time, he'd constructed a roof on the house and a perimeter wall around the main base to protect the structure against attacks, just like a suit of armor. Great minds really did think alike. From day 27 to day 31, I decided I would head back through the canyons. After discovering the book I had found there, I was wondering if there was any more useful information waiting to be uncovered nearby. I didn't come across any more dropped journals, but I did meet a friendly leopard.
My name is Lorne. Delightful to meet the one who cleared out some of those pesky creepers. But be on your guard, my friend. There are more out here, and far worse monstrous creatures have aligned themselves with the wretched brood mother.
Thanks for the warning, Lorne. If it's not safe out here, then you should head back to my base.
Many thanks to you. I never thought I'd be lucky enough to witness a diamond monkey's selflessness again.
Searching around, I didn't find much else of interest, so I headed back to base not long after. Once there, I harvested some sheep's wool from the farm and used it to make some decorative banners that really livened the place up. But my excitement was short-lived, as Philo ran up to me in a blind panic.
Zozo, come quickly! Our friend is in need of your help!
From day 32 to day 35, I rushed after Philo back towards the campfire area. The wind serpent was under attack! There was no time to lose. He had set me on my path, and now I needed to help him. When we arrived, there were creepers coming from all directions. I had never seen so many in one place before. The hissing and rustling they all made was deafening. I climbed a tree, trying to get closer to the wind serpent in order to save him. I could see him fighting back against the creepers, but while his back was turned, one behind him started smoking. Look out! Boom! The creeper set off an explosive chain reaction, causing a bunch of others around it to also explode. By the time the smoke had cleared, only a few were left, but the wind serpent had been caught in the blast. No! I leaped down from the tree and attacked the remaining creepers. I finished off what was left of them, but it was far too late to save my friend. From day 36 to day 39, I tried to take my mind off of what had happened. I decided I'd go somewhere quiet to be alone with my thoughts and ended up wandering into the aspen forest. While I was there, thinking about the poor wind serpent, someone came up to me. It was a green manticore.
Excuse me, I couldn't help notice the glimmer of a diamond monkey. Aren't you meant to be the embodiment of goodness?
Yeah, I suppose, although I'm not feeling too good right now.
Well, sorry to bother you, but I just wanted to ask for your help.
The manticore showed me to the source of his troubles, a horrifying undead scorpion. I pulled out my sword and rushed into battle. The undead scorpion was vicious, swiping at me with its tails as I tried my best to defend. With a blast of my knockback attack, followed up with a combo of an ice blast, I was able to defeat the monstrous creature.
Oh, thank you so much. That thing was so menacing.
The green manticore explained that some creatures believed the power of the broodmother's bad was still getting stronger, so much that it was raising creepy creatures from beyond the grave. I had to stop this! From day 40 to day 43, I headed back to base to recollect myself and see if my friends had any more advice on how I could get strong enough to stop the broodmother. Much to my surprise, they had been working on improving the place while I had been gone. Philo had even made some nice new bookshelves and couches and came to me with a special request.
Zozo, with all this extra space, I think my friends from the Phantom Fox clan would feel very at home here. What do you think?
Philo, if they're anything like you, then we'd be lucky to have them here. With that, Philo let out a loud screeching call into the air to draw in his fellow Phantom Foxes. Before long, even more of them had started slinking out from the Amaranth Fields, and I welcomed them to their new home. Then, a familiar feline face showed up. It was Lorne the Leopard. Glad you made it.
Greetings, friend. Forgive me, but I am in need of your help. On my way, I was attacked by a nether ogre, a ghastly thing that has allied itself with the broodmother. Her badness has attracted all manner of otherworldly beasts.
Say no more, Lorne. You rest up here and heal. I'll take care of that nether ogre. From day 44 to day 49, I started to search for the nether ogre that had harmed my poor leopard friend Lorne. I decided the best place to start looking would be the canyons, since that's where I had last seen Lorne. If there was no sign, then I'd just retrace her steps heading back towards the base. I thought maybe I'd have some luck finding the nether ogre when I felt the ground start to shake. But where I was expecting to see the ogre emerge from, instead, I saw a monster I didn't want to find. It was the broodmother!
Ah, there you are! I've been looking all over for you.
Get back! How did you even find me?
Oh dear, the oh-so-goody-goody diamond monkey doesn't know.
Wait, you managed to find me in the aspen forest too. How do you always know where I am?
You should really pay more attention. My spiderlings are everywhere. They're very good at hiding, and they tell me everything they see.
You're spying on me? Why?
Well, I can't have you finding my nest, can I? And you're completely oblivious to where it is. Let's keep it that way.
Something snuck up from behind me. The legendary silver skeleton! The broodmother tricked me into an ambush. The mighty silver skeleton took up its weapon and came at me, and I had no choice but to fight back. From day 50 to day 53, I crossed swords with the silver skeleton. I tried my best to spot where the broodmother had got to, but she had scuttled back to the shadows, leaving her undead minion to finish me off.
I did my best to parry each of his moves and tried to take a swing at him when I could. But then, I had a thought. If the broodmother spiderlings were really watching me, then why not make sure she knew exactly what I could do? I froze him to the spot, so he was stuck fast and couldn't move. One more strike with my blade, and he was defeated. I had done it, but frozen pieces weren't the only things that fell to the floor. Among the icy remains of the silver skeleton were some mystical diamonds. I reached out to grab them and instantly had a flashback. I could see another diamond monkey like me. He wandered the same places, met the same friendly creatures, but there was one difference. Back then, there was balance. I wondered what happened to him, where he had gone, and how it had caused good and bad to become uneven. Took those mystical diamonds with me. I had a great use for them in mind later on. From day 54 to day 57, now that the distraction of the silver skeleton was dealt with, I continued my search for the nether ogre. When I ventured further into the canyons than I'd gotten before, it didn't take me long to track him down. There was no time for chit-chat with this monster. He came right at me, ready to attack. I guess the mobs that the broodmother was teaming up with weren't all the brightest bunch, but they were some of the baddest. The ogre was big and strong. Its heavy fists were like huge boulders. I had to remember to use my smaller size and stature to my advantage, keeping out of the way. But without any tall trees nearby, I couldn't leap up to safety. Eventually though, the nether ogre's angry swings and the frustration at not being able to catch me soon got the better of him. He started to get tired, slowing down. And once he was almost worn out, bam! My kickback punch knocked him right off the mountain. With the nether ogre defeated, I headed back to my base in the Amaranth Fields to tell Lorne the good news.
Why, thank you, friend. I'll sleep a little easier knowing that brood is gone.
Say, Lorne, did you ever meet another diamond monkey before me?
Of course. He was as kind and selfless as you, Zozo, but also wise and noble. Nobody knows where he went. Perhaps his time was up. But once he was gone, much of his goodness left with him, apart from that which he passed on to others. That's what's allowed the broodmother to gain such power. There was an absence of good in the world, so she filled it with bad.
From day 58 to day 62, I decided to do some work on the base. After all, with the whole Phantom Fox clan here, the place needed some improvements. I expanded the pen that was holding the sheep, making more room so that more of them could fit in. More sheep meant more wool. Then, I had to get working on my idea to use the mystical diamonds I'd picked up from the silver skeleton. Problem was, I didn't have enough to actually make anything. Maybe I could find some normal diamonds to make up for it. Sure enough, I headed down into the mines and found just what I was looking for. Diamonds, and plenty of them. I started chipping them out of the stone wall, and before long, I had enough for my plan. I used the diamonds, both the normal kind and the mystical ones, to craft myself a brand new diamond sword and a pickaxe to match. Now I could dish out a lot more damage.
Zozo, come take some time to relax. Sit with us a while and see the good you're putting back into the world.
Philo invited me to come and hang out with him and the rest of his Phantom Fox friends. They'd really made the base into a more homely place, with a roaring fireplace and a nice living area where we all sat and chilled for a while. Philo also mentioned that they built a small cottage home for themselves and connected all the buildings with a nice path. The base was really coming together. From day 63 to day 66, I was finishing up a few minor improvements on my base when the Geomancer came to me with a new lead on what our next move should be.
I've been feeling a rumbling, lad. Tremors in the ground. The stones, they speak to me, rocking my very soul.
Okay, and what's the sound of the underground saying?
It might be telling me where the broodmother's lair is. There's a lot of movement in the cypress swamplands. It is a vile, putrid place.
No wonder the broodmother feels so at home there. I'll check it out. I headed off to the location the Geomancer pointed out. He was right about one thing, the place was gross. I had a weird feeling while I was there, almost as if I was being watched, and not just by the broodmother spiderlings. Suddenly, I got startled by a warped phantom. I got ready for a fight, thinking that this was another undead being that the broodmother had raised. But to my surprise, he was actually friendly.
Oh, thank the heavens, a diamond monkey. Goodness will be restored, and then I can rest again. That foul creeper spider broodmother dragged me out from my eternal slumber, but I was at peace.
I'll do what I can. Hey, maybe there's some way to get you back to wherever you were before.
If you could, that'd be wonderful.
From day 67 to day 70, I traveled across the cypress swamplands with the warped phantom, and we soon came across the source of the trouble. One of the broodmother's minions, a wither spider, had disrupted the phantom's tomb, and it was stopping his spirit from resting. So I leapt into action to give the ghost a hand. I wasn't anticipating such a tough fight, but even with my new mystical diamond sword, the wither spider was standing strong. I made a split-second decision to hit it with an ice blast attack, then strike it again with my mystical diamond sword, finally getting rid of it for good.
Oh, thank you very much. Back to peace I go.
From day 71 to day 74, I continued searching around the cypress swamplands, as creepy and stinky as it was. I was told that the creeper spider broodmother was lurking around here, so I can't give up until I've gathered some valuable intel. I climbed up to the tree canopy and walked until I saw something. Oh, a diamond gorilla! That reminds me, you should search Zozo on YouTube to find tons of awesome Minecraft 100 Days adventures. But things were about to get even more interesting because the creeper spider broodmother herself crawled out of the darkness towards me.
Welcome, Zozo, you silly little monkey. If I knew you were coming, I would have made tea. Instead, I'm going to make a fool of you.
Look, I don't necessarily think we need to fight. It's all about finding the balance between good and evil. We can find that without needing to fight each other.
You want balance, I want domination. And I know exactly how to get it. I've created so many creepers and so many creeper spiderlings. And in the end, if I have enough, them all blowing up at once would destroy the entire overworld. So everyone needs to do what I say, or that's exactly what will happen.
That's diabolical!
It's effective! You could learn a thing or two from me. Now run, little monkey, run!
The creeper spider broodmother fired another exploding fireball, and I ran for my life! From day 75 to day 78, I was sitting around my base, confused and afraid. Just couldn't stop thinking about what the creeper spider broodmother had said to me. Would she really blow up the entire overworld to get what she wants? That's a level of evil I've never even seen before, and I'm not sure any good would ever balance that out. But I was able to calm down with the help of a distraction, a visit from Lorne the leopard.
Zozo, take a look outside. I made a cool watchtower on the base, so we can keep an eye out for any approaching creepers. We'll be extra safe now.
I took a look outside and saw that Lorne had done an amazing job on the watchtower. Seeing it made me forget about my doubts for a bit. And then, something even cooler happened when Philo the Phantom Fox approached me.
Zozo, I've been discussing with the rest of the Phantom Fox clan, and we've decided to give you one of our most treasured family antiques to use in your fight against the creeper threat. The magical enchanted guitar.
Wow, this is amazing! He passed me the guitar, and the second I equipped it and started to play a sick tune, I found my power growing. I reached 100 hearts, became bigger, stronger, and now had a new special ability, firing a powerful green laser. I'd hate to be the creeper spider broodmother now. From day 79 to day 84, I went back out to the cypress swamplands again with my newfound power and confidence, ready to take on the creeper spider broodmother for round 2. Couldn't see her anywhere. Instead, I was attacked by a nasty gang of whisperers, which I was able to pretty easily cut down with my awesome guitar. I can see why the Phantom Fox clan cared about this so much. I heard rustling in the bushes and turned to see a rabbit wolf hopping towards me.
Hey, thank you.
You're welcome. But for what?
Those whisperers have been a pain in my butt forever, and you finally took care of them. Here, add the spare diamond helmet. It didn't fit me anyway.
Oh wow, thank you! I'm better guarded now than ever before! From day 85 to day 89, I returned to my base, eager to show my friends my new shiny diamond helmet, when I saw a little gang of creepers crawling into my base, closing in on an innocent big axolotl. Oh no, I need to run them off! I fired ice blasts and swung my sword until the creepers were gone. Thankfully, none of them exploded near any of the structures on my base, but that didn't mean I could let them get away. But during the fight, I also saw that a creeper was running towards the innocent big axolotl. I couldn't let that happen. I ran over and destroyed the creeper immediately, even while the others ran away. But the big axolotl was extremely grateful for the help.
Thank you, Zozo. I owe you my life.
Stay safe out there, big axolotl. From day 90 to day 94, I traced back the way from where the creepers came, and it led me to the cypress swamplands.
I reached an area that looked like some kind of nest, where I can only imagine the creeper spider broodmother was waiting inside. But what was even more worrying was the thing waiting on the bridge to the base. A massive, heavily armed Vindicator. You're not a creeper or undead. What are you doing here?
I'm working for the Big Mama, and she wants me to show you that diamonds aren't forever.
But why would you want to work for her? She and her creepers want to rule the world.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna, so I want to fight for the winning team. So that's enough talking. Let's destroy each other.
And with that, the battle began! From day 95 to day 97, I fought the Vindicator who worked for the creeper spider broodmother. He was one of the most skilled opponents I'd ever faced, and he was dealing a lot of damage against me. But I managed to fight back. Little by little, I turned the tide, until the Vindicator was on the ropes, and eventually, he gave up.
Please, I yield. Have mercy.
I'll let you go, but first, tell me something I don't know about your boss. Tell me something that'll help me win this battle for good.
Okay. Well, you don't need to worry about taking out the little creepers. Just focus on taking out the broodmother. She's got like a hive mind. You take out her, all the creepers go with her.
And with that, the Vindicator ran off, never to be seen again. So I just need to defeat the broodmother to defeat the whole army? Now I know for sure what I need to do. On day 98, as I prepared to return to the Cypress Swamplands to take on and defeat the creeper spider broodmother once and for all, I decided to speak to each one of my basemates one-on-one. First, I spoke to Lorne the Leopard.
I believe in you, Zozo. You're living up to the legacy of the Diamond Monkey. Once you're done, the forces of good and evil will be balanced once more.
Next, I went and spoke to Philo the Phantom Fox.
The safety of our clan owes much to you, Zozo. It's been an honor to work with you. I look forward to celebrating with you once you've defeated the evil.
And finally, I spoke to the Geomancer.
You're gonna squish that nasty spider like a big old newspaper, Zozo. Rock on, man, rock on! You're stone cold!
And with all those words of encouragement, I was ready to go. On day 99, I made my way back to the freaky, stinky Cypress Swamplands. I'd conserved all my energy, ready to unleash it in one big, awesome final battle with the creeper spider broodmother. I know the truth now. If I can defeat her, then I'll defeat her entire creeper army. But there was one problem in the way. The creeper army I was just talking about, all surrounding and guarding the creeper nest. There was no way I could fight them all alone, and if I did, it might leave me weak and tired to take on the mean green mother herself. That's when, in my moment of need, the warped phantom whose spirit I'd helped lay to rest came running towards me. He was here to repay my good deed.
Zozo, go forth and destroy the evil that has plagued this land for so long. I'll distract her awful spawn. You get in there and save the world.
I will, Warped Phantom. Thank you. As the creepers swarmed the phantom, I snuck up the stairs and into the well that the broodmother repurposed into its own nest. On day 100, I crawled down into the depths of the nest where I could take on the creeper spider broodmother alone. She was waiting for me, and she wasn't happy to see me.
You're not meant to be here, Diamond Monkey. This is my domain.
Soon, nowhere is going to be your domain. I wanted to coexist with you. I wanted there to be balance, but you left me no choice. All we can do is fight.
Then why even waste time talking? Allow me to destroy you, so me and my creepers can finally claim the world that is rightfully ours!
And so, the battle began! With my sick guitar, I began fighting the creeper spider broodmother as she shot her exploding fireballs at me. The battle was hard. She was the toughest enemy I'd ever faced. But I still had one more power to use against her. I knocked her towards the exit, and that scared her off. She prepared a surprise attack as I exited the room, but I was undeterred. She started to escape, but I summoned all my energy into one attack. My ultimate green laser! With that one last attack, the creeper spider broodmother died, taking all of her creeper army with her, and the forces of good and evil were balanced across the land once more.
On day 1, I spawned as an itty-bitty fire Godzilla. This is rad! But wait, I've only got 3 hearts. What? That's not rad at all. But when I focus real hard, I can make little fires. Look, I just set that tree on fire. Uh-oh, it looks like I upset the baboons who were living there. They're coming after me. I better hightail it out of here. I ran off deep into the forest. Being a tiny baby Fire Godzilla wasn't working out great for me so far. Maybe if I can get bigger and stronger, I can use my powers to help people, rather than just burn their houses down. That'll help me make some friends around here. Maybe that big, tough, warped Moscow will be my friend. Hey, I'm Zozo. I'm pretty new around here. Wanna hang out?
Hey, not so fast, buddy. You wanna hang out here? You gotta pay the toll. Empty your pockets, little Fire Godzilla.
But I don't have any money.
Then I guess you better come with me, Zozo. If you can't pay, you gotta work.
That was another bridge I'd already burned. I needed to run before the warped Moscow could get his big, buggy hands on me. I grabbed a few sticks from the forest and hid in a cave. These would make some pretty good torches with a little bit of my fire, so it won't be too dark in here. I proceeded to place down some torches before deciding to go to sleep for the night. I'm gonna need to get a lot stronger if I want to last out here. This place isn't kind to baby Fire Godzillas like me. On day 2, I woke up in the cave to find my torches had gone out overnight. It was so cold and dark. What if there are spiders in here? I should get moving. I left the cave and entered the forest to explore my surroundings. Whoa, this forest is huge! So many trees, so much wood to burn. I needed to be careful in here, or I'd set everything on fire. When I build my own base, it should probably be made out of stone. I needed to break down a couple of these trees and gather some sticks and wood to make a wooden pickaxe. Perfect! This will be great for mining stone. Now I needed to find a good place to build my base. Maybe somewhere around here? Wait, has somebody already built a cabin here? What's happening here? A druid rushed out of the cabin.
Hey, keep your distance, friendo. I just finished this place. I don't need you burning it down.
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to burn your cabin down. I just needed to find a place to make my base.
Base? What? Are you one of Locknar's guys?
What? No, I'm Zozo. Who's Locknar?
He's a necromancer. He's trying to raise an army of the dead. He and his boys have been harassing people about money around here lately.
The druid returned back into his cabin after bidding me farewell. Money? That sounds just like that warped Moscow from yesterday. He must have worked for this Locknar guy. I better start mining for stone near the druid's cabin. He'd probably make a decent neighbor. By day 3, I started gathering materials for my base. I used my wooden pickaxe to start mining stone in a cave next to the druid's place. Hope he doesn't mind a little construction noise.
Hey, keep down that racket, Zozo. I'm reading.
Now that I know there's a necromancer out there building an army of the dead, I should probably go pay attention to home security. First of all, I took the time to clear out an area and build a big stone wall. This should keep out that warped Moscow if he tries to hassle me for more money. And I won't be able to accidentally burn this wall down either. While I was at it, I needed to get myself a weapon. Maybe I could use some of my spare sticks and wood to make a wooden sword. Hopefully I don't burn it to a crisp. Now I'm looking well prepared. While I was making my way towards the druid's cabin, I noticed something crawling out of the forest. It looked like an elder skulk. Better take care of it before it gets too close to my base. Don't you know it's rude to trespass, Mr. Skulk? Let's go! Hi-ya! With this sword, the elder skulk was no match for me. After I hit it a few times, skillfully dodging its attempts to hit me back, it went scuttling off into the forest again. Nobody beats Fire Godzilla! And clearly that fight made a big difference, because I was starting to get bigger and stronger. I had 5 hearts now, and I could let out a terrifying Godzilla roar! On days 4 and 5, I decided to go a little further into the forest to mine some more stone for my base. The wall was nice, but it wasn't exactly cozy. I needed a roof over my head. I already used some of my spare stone to make a stone pickaxe. But when I ventured out into the deep part of the woods, I ran into an old enemy, the warped Moscow.
You really thought you could get away without paying the toll? You really have no idea who you're dealing with, kid. You don't want my boss to have a problem with you.
Your boss? Is he a necromancer?
You're smarter than you look, Zozo. My boss, Locknar the Necromancer, he's gonna come take over all this soon enough. And if you're not with him, you're against him.
I'd never be the guy who wants to take over a forest by force. I may burn stuff down sometimes, but I'm still a good guy.
Then I guess I've got to destroy you.
And Moscow came at me so fast, I was knocked back off my feet. I pulled out my wooden sword and tried to parry all of his attacks.
You can't hold me off forever, Zozo.
But I was a little faster than he was. Even with my wooden sword, I was able to get the jump on the warped Moscow and defeat him. Looks like I can handle myself decently now. I should probably spend a little more time out of the forest though. On day 6 to 8, I depleted my mine in the forest. At least I was able to find some iron ore though, and craft myself a cool iron sword and an iron pickaxe. Let's just see someone try to mess with me now. But after getting attacked by the Moscow, I wanted to get away from the forest for a while. I decided to take a trip up to the mountain and enjoy that clean mountain air. And I can't burn anything down up here either. It's perfect. But suddenly, a mountain troll approached me, and it seemed like he didn't want to share the mountain with anyone.
This mountain isn't big enough for the both of us, even if you are the puniest fire Godzilla I've ever seen.
I'm just visiting, man. You don't need to be so mean about it.
How dare you call me mean? I'm gonna crush you into dust for that.
He was so big, and he started chasing me. My only advantage was that I was much faster than him, so I could keep my lead. That's where my iron pickaxe came through. With my iron pickaxe, I quickly mined a big hole in the ground, then carried on running. With my trap set, I decided to taunt the mountain troll by calling him a slowpoke. He ran up to me not looking down, until he fell into the hole, and he couldn't climb back out.
A little help in here?
I think you've earned yourself a timeout, mountain troll. On days 9 and 10, I decided to travel further up into the mountain until I found a mountain cave hidden among the rocks. Maybe there will be some treasures hidden in here. Better take a look. I walked into the cave, iron sword at the ready, using the natural light of my fire to light the way. That's when I hit the jackpot. Gold ore deposits. Now that's what I'm talking about. I started to mine the gold when suddenly, despite my fire, it started to get extremely cold inside of the cave. It sent a chill down my spine.
Hello there, little creature.
I turned, and that's when I saw him right there, staring at me. It was Lochnar the Necromancer. Somehow, I could feel the power coming off of him. It was time for me to even the score and use my Fire Godzilla roar. But Lochnar just laughed in response.
Be quiet, boy. Do you have any idea who you're dealing with? When my army walks the earth, every flame like yours will be snuffed out.
I wasn't gonna take that sitting down. I ran at Lochnar with my iron sword and prepared to hit him. But with one strike from him, I was thrown back across the cave.
You're so weak. It's pathetic. You're not even worth destroying yet. Perhaps when you're a little stronger.
And with a flash, Lochnar was gone, and I was left terrified. If even my Fire Godzilla roar did nothing, what hope did I have against him? But it wasn't all bad. I noticed then that I still wasn't alone in the cave. There was a fire villager waiting in there too. When Lochnar was gone, he ran towards me.
I can't believe you survived. Lochnar has been going after all of the flame creatures in the land.
But why? What have we ever done to him?
He's a necromancer. He's trying to raise an army of the undead. And everyone knows the weakness of the undead is fire. He needs to destroy us because we're the biggest threat to him.
Then you're not safe here either. You better come back to my base so we can figure out a plan to stop this. On days 11 through 14, I started expanding my base to make room for my new fire villager friend. Just like me, he was perfectly suited to a fireproof stone house. I built rooms for him and me, and another room where we could hang out together. But this took a lot of stone, and I soon needed to leave the base and mine more. I returned to the mine near the druid's cabin, and even though it was exhausted, it still contained some materials. While I was gathering more stone, I suddenly felt that cold feeling again. Oh no, does this mean the necromancer is behind me again?
Not quite, Zozo. I'm merely one of his servants. He brought me back to life, so I will serve his every order, including destroying you!
It was the Black Death, a plague doctor brought back from the dead. I drew my sword and prepared to battle, but by then, the Black Death was already on me. He hit me and took out some hearts. This guy was way more powerful than me. I ran further into the mine, hoping to find some kind of escape route. But the Black Death was gaining on me. I needed some kind of advantage. Wait, is that a chest? It was a chest. Maybe something in there can save me. I opened up the chest and found a fire aspect enchantment inside. This would give my sword flaming strikes. Perfect! I quickly used the anvil next to the chest to apply the enchantment to my sword. Take this, Black Death! Boom! That got him. The Black Death was set on fire and went running back out of the cave. Fire really does scare off the undead. Safe from the Black Death for now, I traveled back to my base and started making the wall even taller. But now, knowing just how effective fire was against the undead, I made some flaming torches to put on the wall. This should keep out any uninvited guests. On day 15, I went to check on the fire villager and make sure he was settling in nicely. I know from first-hand experience, it isn't easy to be a fire creature.
I find it very comfortable in here, Zozo. Thank you. It's much nicer than having to stay in some damp old cave all day.
So, tell me, what's the deal with this Lochnar guy? Everyone's been telling me that he's trying to raise some kind of army of the undead. Who is he?
Everything you've heard is true, but there's more.
People say that Lochnar is over 1,000 years old, and because he's already dead, he can't be destroyed. Centuries ago, he was defeated by a legendary hero and locked up in the swamp of vileness. But somehow, he came back again, and he's trying to finish what he started all those years ago, making an army of the undead so powerful that he'll rule the world forever.
Can the legendary hero come back to defeat him? It sounds like we really need him right now.
That was a long time ago, Zozo. The legendary hero is probably extremely old now, if he's even alive. No, if we want to defeat Lochnar the Necromancer, we need to find a new hero.
Like who?
Well, like you, Zozo. You survived an encounter with him and saved me back in the cave.
No way. Have you seen me? I'm just a little fire Godzilla. The only reason I survived was because he said I was too weak to be worth destroying. I'd stand no chance against him in a real fight. Do you think I could survive a fight with Lochnar? I think I'd need to get a lot stronger first. On days 16 to 19, I started putting together a plan with the fire villager. If Lochnar is destroying fire creatures because he knows they're a threat to his undead army, we better gather up as many fire creatures as we can.
Great idea, Zozo. If memory serves, Lochnar's undead minions were keeping a Blaze prisoner in an underground cavern near here.
Then I guess I better go rescue him. After hours of searching the forest, I found a secret entrance to an underground area, sneakily hidden among some trees. Hopefully I'm not too late to help the Blaze down there. I rushed through the entrance. I made my way into the insides of the underground cavern and took a look around, trying not to draw too much attention to myself. I saw a lava river running through the bottom of the cavern, so my fire wasn't too out of place here. Wait, are those wither skeletons? They were! A bunch of wither skeletons were scattered everywhere along the path leading deeper into the cavern. They must be guarding the prison cell where the Blaze is. I ran in with my new fire aspect sword and started to fight them off as I went deeper and deeper into the cavern. After I took most of them, I unleashed my fire Godzilla roar. It scared some of the wither skeletons so bad, they ran off faster than their bones could shake. Clearly, all of this fighting was worth some pretty great XP, because I grew to almost twice my size, with almost twice the armor and twice the hearts. Maybe I can be strong enough to take on Lochnar, with the right training. But first, I broke open the prison with my iron pickaxe and freed the Blaze.
Thanks for getting me out of there. It was really starting to get stuffy.
Don't mention it, buddy. How did you get captured?
Well, I was out here searching for the Kyther of Light when I got ambushed by all those skeletons.
You were looking for what?
The Kyther of Light. It's the weapon that the legendary hero used to defeat Lochnar all those years ago. It's said to be the most powerful weapon against the undead in the world.
Oh, wow. Then I should probably start looking for it too. Come back to my base. I want to know more. On days 20 to 22, Blaze and I returned to the base, only to see it being attacked by a horde of zombies. Even the torches I'd added to the walls didn't seem to scare them off. Lochnar was making some really tough undead for us to face. Thankfully, with Blaze at my side, the fight didn't last long. With his flames and my fire sword, we were able to take on the zombies and send them back from whence they came. So long, you undead meanies.
It feels so good to be free and fighting again.
Glad you're back in the groove, Blaze. But while the zombies weren't too difficult to defeat, this incident did make me realize our base needed some better defense. Or at least something to scare off potential attackers. That's when I had a great idea for the statue. The perfect thing to keep the undead away. I started working on the base of the statue with excitement. This is sure to keep the mobs at bay once it's done. Can you tell what it's gonna be? And if you want more adventures like this, subscribe to Zozo, because believe me, the best is yet to come. With Blaze here at the base, I've still got to do one more thing, add a new room for him. With me, Blaze, and the fire villager all together, we're a fiery force to be reckoned with. On days 23 to 26, the base came under attack worse than ever before. I woke up to find the base surrounded by mutant skeletons, who were bigger, faster, and stronger than even wither skeletons. I ran out with my fire aspect sword and started attacking them, one by one. Each mutant skeleton took several hits with the sword to down. These guys were tougher than any grunt enemy I'd faced so far. A little help here, guys? Luckily for me, Blaze and the fire villager were there to help. With the three of us working together, we were able to drive off the remaining mutant skeletons back into the woods. That'll teach you to attack our base, skellies. Oh look, one of the mutant skeletons dropped a bow. That's perfect. I needed a good long-range weapon for my arsenal. What should I do next?
Zozo!
Yes, Blaze?
Now we've fought off the mutant skeletons, you should start exploring the deep dark woods for the Kyther of Light. We need it to defeat Lochnar the Necromancer.
Good idea, Blaze. I journeyed out into the deepest, darkest part of the forest, knowing it would be the exact kind of place where Locknar's minions would be waiting for me. And I was right, but I wasn't the only one. There was a fire elemental being surrounded by mutant zombies. The strongest zombies yet. Lucky for me, I had my new bow. I pulled it out, keeping a distance as I fired arrows at the mutant zombies. They seemed so shocked by my surprise attack, they retreated further into the dark of the forest. I'd saved the fire elemental. Wanna come back to my base, little buddy? I'm collecting fire creatures. He seemed eager, so we headed back to the base. I built a new room to house the fire elemental, and built in a new base defense. Large holes dug into the ground around the base, so any stumbling zombies thinking of attacking would fall right in. I'm feeling safer already. On days 27 to 31, I started off by asking Blaze to tell me everything he knows about the Kyther of Light, seeing as it may be our best chance to defeat Locknar the Necromancer.
It's an ancient weapon, Zozo, supposedly created by a powerful group of sorcerers, or if there was ever a great evil they needed to strike down. The legend goes that only someone pure of heart can wield the Kyther. To a being of evil, it's useless.
But how can I find it? Even the most powerful weapon in the world is only useful if it's in our hands.
Perhaps the legendary hero would have hidden the Kyther in the last place the undead would think to look, the Nether.
Oh no, the Nether? That's one of the most dangerous places out there. I guess if it's the only place I can find the Kyther, it's off to the Nether I go. With my sword and my bow, I set off for an old nether portal in the woods. It's now or never. Yeah, bad joke, sorry. On the other side of the portal, it was all flames and lava. A fire Godzilla honestly looked kind of at home here. What didn't look at home was a huge, scary pigless running straight towards me.
You must be Zozo. I guess you're here looking for the Kyther of Light. Brave kid.
And I guess you're here to find the Kyther too, before I can find it.
You're a smart kid too, but I've got orders direct from Locknar. Only one of us is leaving the Nether. Let's go.
I tried to draw my bow, but the pigless was too fast for me. I was lucky enough to pull out my sword just in time to counter his attack. Before he knew it, I hit him back and eventually managed to hit him in a way and made him touch lava. And due to that, he screamed a bit and moved away.
You're tougher than you look, but I'll get you next time, you little twerp.
And with that, he ran off into the depths of the Nether. On days 32 to 35, I traveled deeper into the Nether, leaving the wastes and entering the Crimson Forest. Wow, this place is super scary. If the legendary hero really hid the Kyther here, he must have been one tough warrior. The Nether has some of the scariest mobs around, but I was surprised to see a familiar face amongst all the trees and lava. It was a baboon, just like the one I met on my first day here.
Hey, aren't you the one who burned down my tree?
I'm sorry, Mr. Baboon. It was an accident. I'm a fire Godzilla. Sometimes I burn stuff down.
Whatever. It doesn't matter now. What are you doing in the Crimson Forest?
I'm looking for the Kyther of Light to defeat Locknar the Necromancer.
Wait, you too? He attacked my family with some zombies. I heard the Kyther might be hidden in the Soul Sand Desert. Let's travel together. We have better odds.
Sounds good to me, Mr. Baboon. We traveled together to the Soul Sand Desert, which was every bit as bleak and barren as the name suggests. I then noticed Locknar the Necromancer standing on top of a floating island.
Hello again, Zozo, was it? Nothing about you was particularly memorable.
You're all smug now, Locknar, but you won't be when we find the Kyther and defeat you.
You won't be able to find anything when you're dead.
Suddenly, the ground below me and Mr. Baboon began to shake. I drew my bow and fired at Locknar, but he didn't even flinch. It was useless. If we couldn't escape, we'd be done for. That's when I had an idea. I turned and fired my bow at one of the ghasts. That should get the attention of him and his ghastly friends. With Locknar preoccupied with the ghast, Mr. Baboon and I ran away, back towards the nether portal.
That was some quick thinking back there, Zozo. You really saved our skins.
I couldn't have done it without you. Come back to the base with me. You can join our anti-Locknar squad. And with that, we exited the nether. On days 36 to 39, I returned back to the base with the baboon. I built him a little treehouse because he didn't find the stone fortress as comfy as me and my fire creature friends. I gathered my new basemates together, the fire villager, Blaze, the fire elemental, and the baboon. I needed to hear their thoughts on my hunt for the Kyther. It wasn't in the nether wastes, the Crimson Forest, or the Soul Sand Desert. If the Kyther really is hidden in the nether, where could it be?
You're telling me you didn't check the basalt deltas?
The basalt deltas? What's that?
It's the most dangerous place in the Nether, Zozo. If the legendary hero really didn't want the Kyther to be found, that'd be the best place to hide it.
The most dangerous place in the Nether? I can't go there yet. The rest of the Nether was already dangerous enough. If the Kyther was really in the basalt deltas, I needed to get stronger to get there, and I needed a little more inspiration. That's why I started working more on the statue. I must say, it's coming along quite nicely. From days 40 to 43, Blaze approached me, knowing I was feeling nervous about going back into the Nether.
Look, Zozo, the Nether is a scary place. I know, I used to live there. But sometimes, when you can't fight your way through, you need to sneak.
But Blaze, I can't sneak. I'm a fire Godzilla. I'm too easy to spot.
I know, but that's where my new plan comes in. There's a potion recipe hidden in a book I left in a lava canyon near here. If you can go get it for me, I'll make you a potion you'll find extremely useful.
So that's exactly what I did. I found my way to the underground lava canyon. It was really hot down there, but thankfully, fire Godzillas don't mind the heat. There had to be a chest down there somewhere. If someone left a book down here on its own, it'd just burn up. But my thoughts were interrupted when suddenly a huge serpent tried to grab me. It was a heck of a jump scare. I'm not on the menu, so slither on by, you reptile. I managed to hit it and knock it into the fiery depths below. That will teach you to mess with a fire Godzilla. As I continued to explore, I saw the chest tucked away in a corner. Let's take a look inside. A book! Jackpot! I then proceeded to leave the lava canyon and make my way back to the base. I gave the book over to Blaze, and he made me a potion.
This right here is a potion of invisibility. It might make your journey into the basalt deltas a little less dangerous.
Thanks, Blaze. This is perfect. On days 40 to 49, I made my way back to the Nether portal deep in the forest. Here goes nothing. After landing in the Nether, I made my way through to the basalt deltas. My friends weren't kidding when they said this place was dangerous. It looks impossible to even build here. I took the potion of invisibility and started to sneak through. There were sheer cliffs everywhere. I had to be careful so that I didn't fall.
Help me, please, someone help me.
Oh no, is that an illager? What's he doing in here? And why is he surrounded by Endermen? I can't just leave him like that. I need to help him, even if it means wasting my invisibility. Still keeping my distance, I pulled out my bow. I opened fire at the Endermen, causing them to teleport away. That gave me a window to get the illager out of there. Come with me if you want to live. Me and the illager ran for the hills until we were out of the basalt delta and back in the much safer Soul Sand Valley.
Thank you, kind stranger. You saved me. How can I ever repay you?
You can tell me everything you know about the Kyther of Light. I need it to defeat Lochnar the Necromancer.
Wait, the Kyther of Light? That reminds me of an old poem I used to hear all the time when I was a kid. Who seeks the Kyther, brave and true, venture into the forest blue.
The forest blue? Wait, that sounds like the warped forest. It's the only place in the Nether I haven't checked. Come with me, we'll go find it. On days 50 to 53, me and my new friend the illager made our way into the warped forest, one of the slightly nicer parts of the Nether. I might have even enjoyed it if we weren't ambushed by that pigless I fought earlier.
Hey, looky here. It's that dweeb, Zozo.
Name calling? Really? That's just uncalled for, man.
No, Zozo. What's uncalled for is you being here. Me and the rest of Lochnar's boys have already found the Kyther, and it's far away from here. You're gonna get destroyed in the Nether for nothing.
That's it. You're going down, Pigless. But Pigless pulled a dirty trick. He didn't go for me. He went straight for the illager, taking him down immediately. No, you can't do that.
I can do whatever I want. Let's tango, Zozo.
We clashed again, but this time I was stronger than before. I dodged his attacks easily, and with a few well-placed strikes from my fire sword, Pigless was done for. With him gone, I was all alone in the Nether again. Maybe Pigless had lied about them taking the Kyther. I had to explore and find out. There was a bastion remnant, an ancient ruined fortress nearby, and it seemed like the exact kind of place the legendary hero might have hidden the Kyther. Instead, all I found was a great beast, cowering in the shadows.
Is the Pigless gone? That guy dragged me along with him to help him find the Kyther. Most of the rest of our team was destroyed by nether mobs. It was horrible.
It's okay, I defeated the Pigless. You said he made you work for him. Do you have any idea where they may have taken the Kyther?
Tough to say. I think Pigless mentioned something about taking it back to the camp. He probably meant the one in the wasteland, back outside the Nether.
Perfect, so at least I know where to look next. Let's get out of here.
Wait, before you go, you deserve a reward for taking out that jerk Pigless. I was gonna use it myself, but here, it's a knockback enchantment. Your strikes will knock back your enemies now.
Oh, finally, some good luck. From days 54 to 57, I returned to my base and started making some adjustments. I added some guard towers so that we could spot any incoming threats faster. Just as I finished repairing and adding the knockback enchantment to my iron sword, the fire villager staying in the base approached me, looking very worried.
Zozo, I need a hand. I've been looking into it, and I've seen that a mutant zombie is skulking out in the forest outside. You should probably go take care of it while I'm working on an extremely important potion.
This would be the perfect opportunity to try my new knockback ability. I ran out into the forest, and just as the fire villager had told me, there was a mutant zombie making its way towards our base. I needed to put a stop to it. Come on, mutant zombie, you're no match for me. And I was right. With the knockback enchantment on my fire sword, I defeated it in no time and headed back to the base.
Great work, Zozo. And here's your reward. I made a potion of slow falling. When you take it, it eliminates fall damage. You never know when that'll come in handy.
On days 58 to 62, I continued work on the statue. I was really pleased with how it was coming along. Can you guess what it is yet? Suddenly, I heard the baboon yell out in panic from his treehouse.
Guys, something is coming towards us.
I looked out and saw a mob coming towards us. Creepers, courtesy of Lochnar the Necromancer. This is bad, this is really bad. But before we could do anything, the first wave of creepers had already hit. Several of them exploded, taking out huge chunks of the defensive wall, and others started crawling through the new gaps. I decided to rush in and finally get rid of the creeper menace. They started exploding again, taking out chunks of the base. By the time I managed to turn the tide of the fight, huge portions of our base had already been destroyed. When I had the advantage, the last surviving creeper ran off back into the forest. The fight was over, for now. We need to start rebuilding immediately. Blaze, fire villager, wait, where's Baboon? That's when we realized the creepers had blown up Baboon's treehouse with Baboon inside of it. From days 63 to 66, hungry for fiery vengeance, I followed the last remaining creeper back into the woods. You and your friends aren't going to get away with destroying Mr. Baboon. I chased him into the forest and saw him disappear down into an underground cavern. I was so angry, I didn't even think about how dangerous it could be to chase a creeper into an enclosed place. I hopped down into the cavern, but the creeper was nowhere to be seen. Instead, I found a book laying on the ground containing a secret note. Invade the base and destroy them all. Any survivors must return to the camp in the desert. G-O-A-W. G-O-A-W? Who's that? Wait, the camp in the desert. That's where they must be keeping the Kyther of Light. It was only then that I looked up and saw the creeper crawling quickly towards me. No time to think. On pure instinct, I pulled out my bow and fired. Boom! The creeper exploded, taking out a portion of the cavern. Lucky for me, thanks to the quick reflexes, I was out of the blast zone. From days 67 to 70, I traveled for 2 days all the way out to the desert. It was a really tough journey, but by the end, I finally saw the camp. It was a cabin surrounded by campfires, with a ghostly figure floating around it. It looked like the ghost of an ancient warrior. Lochnar the Necromancer must be able to raise skeletons, zombies, and ghosts. Wait, ghost of ancient warrior? That must be G-O-A-W, the one who wrote the note. He must be a pretty big deal. As I got close, I noticed there was a gorge in the desert just outside the camp. Better not fall in. I drew my bow and fired at the ghost, but predictably, the arrow went straight through him. That's when he threw through the air and lunged at me. He didn't even talk, he was all action. I managed to dodge and strike back with my sword, but he parried. This guy was a better fighter than anyone I'd ever faced. I didn't even know if I could defeat him. That's when I had an idea. If I'm not strong enough to beat him yet, I can still trick him. Before he could attack me again, I quickly drank my potion of slow falling. Then, when he attacked me again, I jumped back and fell into the gorge. To him, it looked like I fell to my doom, but thanks to the potion, I was just fine. When the ghost finally floated away, I climbed back up to the top. Kyther of Light, here I come! On days 71 to 74, I was finally able to make my way into the cabin being guarded by the ghost of the ancient warrior. Except, the Kyther wasn't there. The cabin was empty. All I heard was the echoing laughter of Lochnar the Necromancer. He was always a few steps ahead. Once again, it all been for nothing. I made the long trek back to my damaged base, empty-handed. On days 75 to 78, I came back to the base and noticed how damaged it really was. It was still heavily damaged from the creeper assault, and I needed to start the repairs immediately, so I did just that. But I felt terrible knowing that now Mr. Baboon is gone. I didn't need to rebuild the treehouse. As I finished up the repairs, the fire villager approached me.
Hey Zozo, I just wanted to say I'm sorry you didn't find the Kyther, but I know you're strong enough to beat Lochnar anyway. I figured this might help.
That's when he handed me a diamond sword with fire aspect, the strongest weapon I'd ever had my hands on. Wow, thanks Fire Villager! It may not be the Kyther of Light, but it's the next best thing. And it turns out that the diamond sword couldn't have come at a better time, because suddenly, the ghost of the ancient warrior had returned, and he was flying at me. Guess it's time for a rematch. But this time, I didn't need any cheap tricks to take him down. Using my new diamond sword, I dodged his blows and struck him again and again until he burst into ghost vapor and disappeared. I immediately started growing larger and larger, as well as doubling my hearts. But it wasn't just that. With my new size, I gained Godzilla strength, making all my close-range attacks 3 times as powerful. Just then, the fire villager ran up to me.
You did it, Zozo. You defeated the ghost of the ancient warrior. That's amazing. Wait, Zozo, I found this where the ghost vaporized.
It looks like a notebook. The latest note read, Lochnar is nearly at his full power. The final arrangements are being put into place. Destroy Zozo and the druid. Wait, the druid from the cabin? He's involved in this too? On days 79 to 84, I knocked on the door of the druid's cabin to find out how he was involved in all of this. Just like when I first met him, he wasn't eager to have me as a visitor.
Keep your distance, Fire Godzilla. You're even bigger than last time, and my house is very flammable.
I don't want to burn your house down, druid, but I know someone who does. I've seen instructions from Lochnar the Necromancer. He wants to destroy me and you. What does he have against you?
Ugh, Lochnar again? I thought I was done with that guy.
What do you mean?
I defeated him a few hundred years ago and sealed him away. I figured he'd stay gone for good, but I guess not.
Wait, does that mean you're the legendary hero?
I was, sure, but then I retired to become a druid. It's a much easier life. And besides, you should be fine. As long as you have the Kythar, he won't be that hard to defeat.
But he has the Kythar.
Oh, okay. This could be bad.
After our conversation, the druid led me back out into the forest to find another nether portal. He'd hid another weapon in the nether all those years ago as backup, if ever the Kythar fell into the wrong hands. But when we arrived at the side of the portal, it had already been destroyed.
This isn't good. If Lochnar destroyed the nether portal, it means he doesn't need it anymore. He's reaching the full height of his powers.
What do we do now?
Well, from where I'm standing, the only option is to...
An arrow shot out of the woods, hitting the druid and destroying him before he could even finish his sentence. No, this can't be happening. I turned to see a small gang of skeletons emerge out of the thicket behind us. As they ran at me, I made short work of them with my diamond fire sword. But now, I was out of options and out of time. There was only one thing left to do. I need to find the Swamp of Vileness and destroy Lochnar myself. On days 85 to 89, I made my way out to the snowy landscapes of the north, where I finally found the great beast I'd met back in the nether. As far as I could tell, he would be the only one who could tell me where to find the Swamp of Vileness and finally track down Lochnar the Necromancer himself.
I know where to find it, but it won't be easy. It's beyond the forest, but you can only go at night. And that's the thing. That creep is strongest at night. So if you're gonna take him on, you better be well defended.
That's a useful tip. Thanks, Great Beast. From days 90 to 94, I decided to take the Great Beast's advice and armor up. I used my iron pickaxe to mine some diamonds and turned them into a full set of diamond armor, helmet, chestplate, leggings, and boots. But I didn't want to stop there. I needed some enchantments to really make sure I could take a punch from Lochnar and his evil army of the undead. I gave myself the protection enchantment. That makes my armor twice as durable against close-range attacks, and projectile protection, which kept me safe from ranged attacks. Let's see Lochnar take me on now. From days 95 to 97, I finally finished the statue. Its flame could be seen from miles away and should keep all the bad mobs away from my base once and for all. It was a beacon of hope for all fire mobs, a bright, brilliant beacon that could be seen from miles away. And that's when I realized why I had to take on Lochnar and his undead minions. I could either use my fire powers to destroy, like when I accidentally burned down Mr. Baboon's tree, or I could use it to be a beacon of hope, to fight back against evil whenever I can, because it's the right thing to do. So it's exactly what I was going to do. On day 98, I spoke to the fire villager in Blaze about my plan to attack the Swamp of Vileness and finally take down Lochnar.
You can't do this alone, Zozo. You're strong, but Lochnar is so powerful, and he has an entire army.
He's right, Zozo. Why don't you let us come with you? Surely we'll be stronger together.
I can't put you at risk like that. You need to stay here as backup, in case Lochnar defeats me and his undead army escapes. But I can't let that happen. Trust me, no matter what, I'm going to defeat Lochnar and put an end to his evil reign of terror. With that, I exited the base, but was suddenly stopped by someone I haven't met before. Can I help you? He said nothing and dropped me a note and left. The note said, If you want to help me defeat Lochnar, you should subscribe to Zozo and check out our other adventures. You can even suggest what you want to see next down in the comments. Alright. I'm sure with the help of you guys, I'll actually manage to defeat Lochnar. On day 99, following the instructions of the Great Beast, I made my way to the Swamp of Vileness in the dead of night. It was every bit as creepy as I'd imagined. Mist hung low, the mossy skeletons, minions of Lochnar, were patrolling back and forth. I didn't have any more potions of invisibility. I needed to fight my way through. Okay, Skellies, come get me. I want to speak to your manager. That got their attention. Suddenly, waves of mossy skeletons started running at me, while others fired bows at me from a distance. Thankfully, with my enchanted diamond armor, I could deflect most of the damage, and my enchanted diamond sword could destroy them in one strike each. But that wasn't the problem. The mossy skeletons may have been weak, but every single time I defeated them, more just kept coming out of the fog. Don't you guys know when to quit?
They are the least of your worries, Zozo.
It was Lochnar. I could hear his voice, but I couldn't see him. It was like he was everywhere around me.
If you survive this onslaught, come a little further and meet me in my crypt. It'll be the last thing you ever do.
I wasn't going to let him get away with that. No matter how many skeletons he threw at me, I'd keep fighting to the very end. With my sword at the ready and my flames brighter than ever, I moved in towards the crypt of Lochnar. On day 100, I fought through the mossy skeletons and reached the crypt, which looked like a big, rickety pile of ancient stone. But there were stronger enemies waiting for me there. Mutant skeletons and mutant zombies came running at me, but my sword was ready. I hit them again and again, sending one after another down. But just like the mossy skeletons, more of them kept coming. I'm really starting to get sick of you guys. I unleashed a mighty fire Godzilla roar that could be heard across all of the Swamp of Vileness, and it knocked out all of the undead at once. It was just me in the crypt, so I pulled out my iron pickaxe and started destroying it, just to spite Lochnar. But just then, I fell down deeper into the crypt. Oh my gosh, there it is! That's the Kyther of Light! This is where he's been keeping it! I grabbed the Kyther. Now, I was ready to take on Lochnar.
I wouldn't be so confident, Zozo.
Boom! Lochnar appeared behind me, more powerful than he'd ever been before.
Do you really think you can beat this?
Lochnar began to grow as his power increased, becoming a huge, monstrous super necromancer. Like this, he really did look like he could take over the world. But I wasn't done yet. And do you really think you can beat this? I summoned up all of my power and channeled it. My flames got brighter as I grew, taking in the power of the Kyther of Light. I became Ultra Fire Godzilla with 30 hearts and almost unbreakable armor.
You can't do this. It isn't fair.
Life isn't fair, Lochnar. Let's go. Lochnar threw everything at me, hitting me again and again, but getting nothing. Now it's my turn. With one mighty swing of the Kyther, with all my power behind it, Lochnar was destroyed once and for all, never to raise another undead minion again. Safe at last, I returned to the base to celebrate with the Fire Villager and Blaze. Things were finally looking up for all of us.